But Robert, it is interesting because what you're talking about is the air gap that's come up. When that happens, pull the plug
Hmm. Yep.
and go to a completely another thing
Hmm.
that you've lost the control.
I've had to do that a couple of times over the last year.
And this thing was really interesting because they said that the guys, the bad
Just please
players.
be aware that we are live on YouTube now. Feel free to
Okay,
talk. I just don't want you to say anything that shouldn't be out there.
okay, David will speak pleasantly about you.
We don't want to talk about that trip where you went and you robbed a bank in
Yeah, that
Europe.
trip. Right.
That
Yeah,
okay?
don't
We
talk
won't
about
talk
that
about
one.
that trip.
Right. Okay.
And remember, the lottery number is 67, not 76, as I said earlier.
Hmm.
Back to Robert. Yeah, it it's so scary how we think AI is so neat at times, and I was amazing things that I've been doing with some stuff. I can't believe I can actually code, which I can't. I could ask a good question, but then you realize with somebody who really wants to use this in less than positive ways, they really have a lot of power.
Um, the guys talked about it's easy to catch the amateurs. It's those bad players who know what they're doing. I mean, those that's just like with hackers in programming.
Yeah.
You're usually one step behind them.
Well, my wife has gotten caught a number of times, and I have a little post-it note: "Do not click in any email," and just whatever it says, go separately to that account, log into it, and I'm pointing out all these horrible things, and I got caught. It
Oh
was
no.
one of the best. I mean, I don't feel bad because I looked at it and I went and checked to see the mailing. I said this has got to be, and I even clicked one of the links to see where it took me. I said okay, and like when you open the day, those of you who remember 35 millimeter film, when you open the camera by mistaking you had film and you could never close it fast enough. It was one of those things. The minute I clicked, I go, no.
Yes.
But you know where this is also starting to just get in really deep. And I got a message from a friend of mine today on LinkedIn that I'm connected with, and he showed me posts where he's getting posts from bots that are registering on LinkedIn and sending out friend requests. Now, this is a bit weird because I would have thought that the registration process by Microsoft on LinkedIn is secure enough to be able to identify someone who isn't authentic in some form or fashion. Yeah?
That'll
But
teach you
no.
for thinking again.
Actually, I went back during this session on WebEx that I was talking about with Pindrop, and I asked them two questions. Why aren't you guys working with the people who create legislation to ensure that there is something that is common between all of us that helps identify genuine uh, video or whatever it is that's going out onto the net? Just a naive example, I know it's not comparable, but like pixels and images, is there no way of doing that? And yeah, they said they are working on it. We can talk about it sometime.
Okay. I'm going to need to sign off for a moment, but I'll be back.
Did you click on the wrong button again, John?
Not quite. Thank you.
Don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out Friday Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about
I've got
Zoom
my stats open to
functionalities
see
in
if David comes in at 60 FPS.
He's not that fast.
We will see.
Zooming in, we're testing it all, live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in the fun, engaging way.
I don't think people in Zoom could hear the music. Could you?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
do
you
it.
could. Okay, good. So my screen just shifted before.
Yeah,
Okay.
very, very low though. It was
Oh, it's
very
low. I'm sorry. All right,
That's
wait.
all
Now
right.
I have to undo because I don't have a button. Let me fix it. There we go. Hi, everyone. I'm at home. It's Passover. It's Easter weekend, and so I'm here, and I have none of my usual stuff, and everything is breaking, which is just glorious. It's just fantastic. But mostly, for one thing I definitely can't do is I can't unspotlight myself. So Mike, well, I can, but I just have to go like this. I'm going to go on. No, see, I can't. Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I got you.
I couldn't even do it. It's just little old me on little old Zoom today, I guess. I don't know. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good. And without all the toys too, this is the way I do it every week for us here on Zoom Test Kitchen.
No, you have all the
So-
toys. What are you talking about?
I manually spotlight and unspotlight. I don't
Wait.
use OSC. I don't use ISO.
Really?
I don't use any liminal apps
Why?
ever. A, I'm not on a Mac, and
Oh,
B, there's no
that's why.
reason for it.
Well, yeah, but you have to then go manually and hit the three dots and then pull it down and then spotlight on. Yeah. Wow, I
Which-
didn't know that.
Which I do fine, obviously, because nobody's complaining
Okay,
about what
all
I'm
right.
doing. so-
Okay, fine. I get it. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. I forgot that you're not on Mac. So that kind of, unless you're going to throw a Mac mini in your setup just to
Right.
do OSC and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Fascinating. Interesting. Well, thanks for that.
Of course.
Hey, Robert, how are you?
Very good, David. Also enjoying Easter at my end. So
Yeah.
was sort of celebrating and fasting away, trying to be good, keeping away from all the good things in life that one will be able to stuff themselves with tomorrow.
Now it's Good Friday today. Forgive my ignorance. It's Good
Yep.
Friday today.
Yep.
Is tomorrow also a special day, or is it just Easter Eve?
Well, we get to the day of resurrection, aren't we?
Is that
So
Saturday or is that Sunday?
it is formally on Sunday, but
Right.
Saturday evening we go to church and we celebrate that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
Which
we
go ahead.
We try to eradicate the time zones in that way.
Well, yeah, but it's also, I mean, that's a very Jewish thing, actually, doing the evening before. You know, in the Jewish calendar, every day, forget holidays, every day begins the evening before at sundown. So that's why, you know, we have our Passover Seder on the night before Passover actually begins.
Yep.
So an Easter Eve celebration, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, but David, you are our elderly brothers in faith.
I know,
so
I know.
We do follow a lot of the stuff that you tell us to do.
Yeah, we're all the same. We're all the same. John Drinkwater, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm a bit emotional now because I've just been thinking about Good Friday services that I used to have when I was a little boy in the church. The Good Friday service is where we, I'm afraid, we desert Christ. That's basically what happens on Good Friday. So the Good Friday service doesn't end.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the service, everybody just leaves. There's no music, there's no processing, there's no nothing. You just all just walk away. And
Wow.
it used to get me, because everything else about the church is all organized, and
Sure.
there's all
Sure.
music in various places. But at the end of Good Friday service, that's it. You leave, and you're told not to leave the normal way. You just leave some random way out the church.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's amazing. We have the same thing on Yom Kippur morning, which is one of our holiest days. Because technically the service isn't supposed to end. Technically, it's supposed to be an all-day thing. So the usual prayers that we say at the end and the goodbyes and all that, none of that happens. And so we just kind of stop singing and, like you said, just kind of leave. And it's jarring. It really is. But what you just said, this is not the religion test kitchen, but what you just said about abandoning Jesus was really powerful to me when you said that the way that you leave the church on Good Friday is symbolic of what actually happened to Jesus when he was on the cross. It's just amazing. So powerful and terrifying.
And the opposite of that is when we finish midnight mass. Three of us, four of us, but one goes off to his own house. So three of us dance down my road at half past midnight on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And one year it had snowed while we were in the church service. So we came out to
dance in the snow.
All the snow. So we danced down the road in the snow, celebrating Christmas.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Mm.
But it's all the same here though, isn't it? It's all about the show.
It is. It is. Who else is here? Let's see. Hasmuk's here. Hasmuk, are you celebrating anything?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sleep very soon.
To the sleep. Is that the name of your holiday? That just sleep?
Perpetual. Yeah, no, I had to move my office over the weekend. And they just dumped everything in different boxes. So I spent the entire day realizing that I have hundreds of Ethernet cables. I have no idea why. And then I have like 40, 50 HDMI cables. Oh my God, I'm telling my wife, what am I going to do with all this stuff? I can't take it with me. Although there's different kind of broadcast up there, but yeah, I don't need this in my life. So anyway, I spent the entire day putting them in logical groups. I don't need you anymore. I'm going to keep you. I don't need you anymore. I'm going to keep you.
That's so much. See, that to me sounds like a tremendous amount of fun. I love organizing all of my things so that I know exactly where to find them. And
well, all the stuff came home because I had to store it temporarily at home. And I'm quite restless if things are not in order. Everything has to be in place. And I may have a production next week. I'm saying I have no idea where all the pieces are. So I need to take every box and reassemble it the way I know where to find things. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And welcome to the world of the production world and being portable. And you will be buying a lot of plastic bins.
Well, it was fortuitous that I was doing this because I was chairing our past president's education trust for about 15 years. So his CEO called me from his farm today, and he said, so I said to him, who now would disturb me on a Good Friday, and why are they harassing me? And anyway, he came to see my production, my medical production, a few months ago. So he calls me today and he says he wants to teach young people and prepare them for leadership. So he has selected 100 people that he's developed a curriculum himself and he wants to go through this. And I told him about your platform. And he wants to use your platform to connect to all these 100 users. And so I'm quite excited that I'll have a production with my past president of the country. That's cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's very
But
cool. Hey, Peter,
sorry, before you go into PD Hazmat, can I just ask you if you know these things and a Nimbot to print names on
labels.
cables and stuff and labels, and I highly recommend it.
Well,
which one is that?
This is the Nimbot. What is it? I don't even know what the number is. This is what it looks like inside.
Nimbot?
Yes, it's a
Numbot?
Nimbot. Yeah. It just prints on thermal paper by Bluetooth, and you run the app off your mobile phone.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I have a smaller version of that one, Robert, but you know.
Yeah. And you get different types of labels. When you put the label in, it identifies the label type. So when you put in the name, it knows the shape and etc. etc. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, David.
No, that's also good too. And I want to throw in here too, Hasma, what you might want to do is actually color code the different lengths of cables too.
Oh, yeah.
That's very important as well. So that if you're at an event, all of a sudden you pull a cable out, you just look at the color at the end of where the connector is. And you know that, okay, I know that's a 6-foot cable because it's XYZ color. Now there is a standard. If we want to get into that, we can get into that. But there is a sort of a standard of X color represents X length of cable that they'll actually put at both ends of where the connector is, so that all you need to do is lift that cable up, look at the connector, and go, yeah, okay, good. That's the size I want. And off I go.
Yeah, that's me. I that's what I do. I've done color coding and I've put labels, and I've never admitted I have OCD, but and I don't think I'll ever will. But I have a young audio engineer that also assists me with stuff, and he doesn't understand order. He's just he just scatters everything, you know. So and so when we're in a scramble, yeah, they don't learn very easily, these Gen Zs.
I'll blame it on Gen Z. We can do that since none of us here are Gen Z. Let me quickly say hi to Peter and to Roland. Peter, how you doing?
Good. Just
Good to
hosting
see
the
you.
fact that grandkids and daughter are showing up. So that's why I had to step out suddenly. They suddenly decided to show up.
And you're in on and you're in on Zoom ISO today.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
I
showing off again. Zoom ISO V3. Hey,
Yeah.
Peter, come
Fantastic.
on.
And Roland, how are you, sir?
I am doing well, doing well, doing well. I hope
Good to
everyone
see you.
else is doing.
We're good. It's really nice to see you. Very often you're behind the scenes, and it's lovely to
Yeah.
we love you no matter how you get here, but it's particularly lovely to be able to see you.
Yeah, I'm free today to be
Good.
available,
Fantastic.
so I'm on.
And look who just jumped in. Hey, Tamara Pika.
Hello. I'm all fuzzy, which is really disturbing.
Yeah, you are a little fuzzy.
That could be disturbing on many levels.
But take that as a compliment. I mean, don't be upset by it. Oh, fuzzy
I
pussy.
missed the Zoom Test Kitchen song today, which is sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I was on another meeting. I'm like, you guys, I have to go. I have to go right now. I'm missing the Zoom Test Kitchen song.
Hey, did any of you see this sort of craziness from Zoom? That Zoom, until today, and it wasn't even today, it was up until about an hour or two ago, my time, you could not download Zoom Workplace 7.0.0 for anything.
I heard about this, but I didn't know this.
Yeah. So they took it down for apparently us
Wow.
North Americans were screwing something up. And
Hmm.
if you're, and I hadn't been having any problems, but if you were having problems, you could uninstall Zoom and then reinstall the old version. It just, again, I checked this not an hour or two ago and it wasn't there, but they've just updated it to say that now you can download it. And Windows especially has had 2 point dot point, whatever you call it, updates, 0.0, 0.1, 0.0, 0.2 since 7. Does anyone know what this was about? What the problem was?
Someone had mentioned it in one of our many discords, and I did not. I was like curious because I feel like I did upgrade one of my
Oh, I did
computers.
too. Yeah, I'm definitely
So
on 7.0.
right, so it's like you couldn't do it if it was new. Is that what the?
Well, no, I think we
I
jumped
saw
on it right
something.
away. Go ahead, Roland.
I
Yeah.
saw something related to Zoom phone. So there was an issue with some users of the Zoom phone that were affected by the update.
Yeah, I saw that also, but I'm curious as to what that has to do with workplace.
I
know,
have the version I have on this computer is 700.77593.
Yeah. And I discovered it only yesterday because there was one machine I wanted to upgrade from 6 point whatever it was to 7.0 and couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Kept offering me the same version I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And now you guys have got me really nervous because it's the first time I've updated on the fly because I wanted to get Zoom
posted
ISO
it.
3.0 running, and bam, I'm gonna
No,
sleep
apparently
tonight.
now it's fixed. But oh, actually, wait. Let me click on this and see if
It
it
feels
Yes,
intriguing.
Yes, it's fixed. I
service
just
degradation affecting a subset of users in Zoom with Zoom chat in the North America region.
Yeah, that's been down for over 24 hours now.
Really?
Yeah, go all the way to the bottom, David. It'll tell you what everything's all about. There you go.
We're currently investigating a service degradation with a subset of users who are experiencing Zoom chat stuck at connecting. So it was just chat. Okay. Our team is actively working to identify the impact and root cause. We'll provide an update. Wow. Yeah.
And-
So it
and see
started
what-
on April 1st.
Yeah, and see when that. Yeah, so that was the actual timestamp.
Wow. And it was so significant that they pulled 7.0. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm running 7.0.1 on Windows.
And you know that there's a 0.2 update now. 0.0.2.
Yeah, I'm going to double check that momentarily, but I won't entirely
Yeah.
disappear if I do find it.
No.
But I'll
It's
let everybody know.
so it's let's see here. So we've got minor bug fixes for you, resolved an issue about a connectivity issue, and resolved an issue in meetings where profile pics were duplicated after breakout rooms were opened.
but not for Mac OS.
No,
Interesting.
not for Mac OS.
That feels typical.
Yeah. So interesting. By the way, on my participants panel, ooh, John has it also. So on my participants panel, I have, oh, actually, you know what? I could just show it to you. Sorry. I have those, thank you, Mike. Those persistent buttons right here. Where's my cursor? The this and this, but I also have this transcribe button.
Yep.
And John also has it. Now, John, did you start transcription on your end?
I didn't specifically start transcription, but I've got my little Zoom, my notes thing running.
Yeah, I didn't intentionally start it either, but I can see that I have mine running also. I wonder if maybe I started it unintentionally. I think I might have actually.
Well, because it's asking me if I want to ask.
I did click on it. I just replayed my brain, and yeah, I clicked on the return to note, and that opened up the transcript button, transcript window, but I didn't see it because it's under another window.
Right.
So
And I
this
actually
is
think,
the back to what we had last time, David, isn't it? The ability to add your own notes to the
correct,
transcript while it's being
correct.
created.
I just wasn't clear on what that, I had not seen that transcription button before, which I now see. And now it's not showing me. There it is. Okay, transcribing. So presumably if someone else were to turn that on, then I would see that. Can you all see who's transcribing on your participant panels?
No, I don't think so.
So that's a host thing, I guess.
Wait, maybe. Let me
No,
look.
I can see. I can see.
Who's I can see?
It's Peter.
You can see who's transcribing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You and John Drinkwater.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
How
not
do
a.
you see that? Like, am I just looking at the? Oh wait, I'm looking on the wrong computer. Never mind. I'm on an old version on this computer.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
again, everybody's looking at the icon at the top, right? The new icon where transcription is.
No, I'm on the old one.
The new icon. What do you mean the new icon? You mean in the Zoom meeting?
In the actual, yeah. So if you go up to your workplace app, you'll actually see transcription is on. You can actually stop and start it if you want.
Right. I think that I actually turned it on because before, when I was trying to fix the live streaming thing, I think I clicked the notes button by accident, to be honest with you. I think that's why that's why mine turned on.
Actually, no, I'm really pleased that this is coming in because a lot of the big events that I have where people are registering and I limit the amount of people that can come into a meeting on one registration, people have been complaining because they can't bring in their note taker. And now with this, they can actually
Right.
take notes on the transcription on their own user because it doesn't have to be a separate login or a separate registration, which is really cool, actually, when you
Yeah.
think about it.
I can't stand all those bots that come in. So I've got on my, I wonder if I can bring this down so you all can see it. Let me drag this guy down here and go like that. Okay. So on my notes button up here at the top, I have some options. So first of all, I've auto start note for future meetings. I guess I turned that on. I had forgotten. And allow everyone to use my meeting transcript with my notes. And then if I actually click on it, so that's a hover. What I just got there is that's just a hover information. If I actually click on my notes, then you can see the transcript going here. And if I wanted to put my note in, here's my note about my notes.
The note about notes.
Yeah.
So
David,
if
do
you
you have-
minimize that, David, you
I'm
get
sorry?
this floaty. If you minimize that, you get this floaty thing.
If I minimize this, I get a floaty thing. Where's my floaty thing?
That floaty
I
thing will travel.
I didn't get a floaty thing. I mean, I have it popped out. Does that matter?
No, you need to close it, and then you get a floaty thing.
Well, I don't want to complete my note.
Oh, no, not complete. Let me just
That
work
actually-
out how I do this so I can.
What do you want to show on your screen?
Yeah, I can share on my screen. That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Let's make everyone look at him for a few minutes.
Nice.
Where's my share gone? Share's gone up there now. I'll just share my entire desktop. Let's be greedy, shall we? And share Zoom windows. Mustn't forget that. We won't see anything. There we go. Right. So, I want to get rid of that. And you can see here I've marked my notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I go minimize, they just sit there. And if I hit that one, I get this.
Oh, that's cute. Wait a
That's
second.
And you can actually pause the note taking.
Oh, I do.
So if I want to say something off the record,
Oh, that's
my skin
awesome.
is really hot. And then I can turn it back on again, you see, and it won't be shown in my notes.
Wait, where's
Oh.
my thing?
And I can
Wait a
do it
second.
here as well. So
That's actually very cool because I've been on a couple meetings and then afterwards I realized, oh, you know what?
I shouldn't have said that in public.
It's not really in public because all the things just come to me, but I realized that, hey, these people didn't realize that we were going to drift off into chatting about whatever that was probably not what we wanted to have.
So I see that in my notes thing, and I
Yeah.
can move it around,
Yeah.
but I can't take it out of my notes thing.
You have to close the notes down, and I hit the yellow minimize button, and I
I'm
got it to
doing
be
that, and then
floaty
it's
that way.
disappearing. And
Oh
I don't
yes,
have
but it's
it.
difficult to find the floaty thing because it's so small. It tends to hide.
Oh,
So maybe you've got it, but you just can't find it.
well, and now I'm on a hunt.
Now you can you can hunt for
That's ridiculous. I want my floaty thing.
While David's hunting for it, John, can you just explain two things to me?
Sure.
Every time someone's turned on the transcription, I get a separate message warning information that the meeting is being transcribed, which
Oh.
sort of implies that the transcription is associated with the person and not the meeting.
These are more, to my mind, these are more like personal transcriptions now, because I don't think by hitting the pause, I've stopped the transcription for everybody else in the room.
That was my next question.
So I just stopped my transcription.
Well, you stopped your transcription, David, and I saw a big red message appeared at the top of my screen,
Oh,
my
you
Zoom
did?
screen, to say, yeah.
So did I.
So wait, but so does that mean
You're
that the
probably
host
doing it on
stops
behalf of the group,
Okay,
whereas
so
I'm probably doing it on
you
behalf
stop
of me.
yours now, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, so mine is stopped at the moment, actually, so I can
okay,
resume it, stop it,
So
or
that's
pause
important
it,
to know. Yeah.
and then restart it.
So is it a different color if it's the host versus a random person in the meeting?
I don't think you actually. I'm guessing that you don't actually know if a random person stops it. It's only if the main transcription.
I had no indication
David's
that you
version is
stopped
the one
yours.
we would set that will be sent to all of us if he sent it on.
Right. I'm just wondering, because if every time someone starts a transcription, your entire meeting is going to have all of these, you're being recorded, you're being recorded, you're being recorded. Like every time anybody starts something, you get like a 500-person meeting, and suddenly.
But that's not true with this, is it? If someone right now turns on the My Notes transcription, I don't think we would get a notification at all. If someone turned it on, let's see.
Yeah, I think it's only for the
Yeah.
the
It's only for the
starting
main
of it
one.
generally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Because I agree, those are really annoying.
They're fun, but not that fun.
Yeah. And I just want to say out loud to the Zoom gods, I don't have a floaty thing. I've moved every window. I'm feeling a little left out. Hasma, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, David.
Is this the fact that Peter and others are getting a notification on the transcript? I have a blinking transcript in the top menu header, but I think, do you have to have a paid account for this? Because I'm in this meeting on a free account.
That blinking thing at the top, that's indicating the transcription is on. If I stop transcription,
Yeah, I got that.
right? And now, how the hell do I start it again? Okay, so now on my screen, under that notes thing, allow everyone to use the meeting transcript with my notes is now unchecked. So I'm going to check that again. It's now starting the transcription again, and now you're getting. Now you have the
and we got a
hovery floaty
notification.
thing.
We got a notification box when that happened as well, David.
Yep.
But
No,
we
I
can
don't
also
have-
click
I
on
don't
that
have
and
that,
ask you
you
to
see.
stop it.
I don't have a notification box.
Oh yeah, look at that. A participant has requested to turn off transcription.
That was me.
Yep.
So I clicked on the transcript on that little sign on the right-hand side, and it says upgrade to generate transcripts for your meetings and unlock the full AI companion experience.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That sounds to me like you need trying to get you to buy a paid account.
Some sort of paid account.
that's
yeah.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So this is limited if you're on a free account.
Cheapskate. Cheapskate.
Well, it makes perfect sense, and it's a shame, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's costing them a bundle to transcribe using AI and generate notes from all these meetings. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of money, I'm sure.
But just like you, David, if the Zoom guys are listening, the gods are in our favor today. What I'd like to see with the notes is I get an iPad and I stick myself on the
Yeah.
meeting, and then I get a pencil and I make my
Yes.
notes on the iPad
Yes.
on the transcript itself. So it's like a PDF with notes. That's what I would like to have.
That's such a great idea to be able to. So we've talked about how in person, and Zoom has this capacity, how in person folks can join a meeting with their phone to participate in chat and to respond to polls and things like that. So that's essentially using a device not as a full join, but to is sort of an ancillary device to the meeting. Being able to somehow connect your iPad in the same way to a meeting where it doesn't have to join the video. It doesn't need audio. In fact, I don't want it to have those things because that will complicate my audio chain. And just give me the notes there and let me either scribble like on a PDF or have a sidebar where I can do that's a beautiful idea. That's a great idea. Oh, I like that a lot.
That's what I would like.
Yeah.
For Christmas, apart from my two front teeth.
For Easter. Don't wait for Christmas.
Poor Zoom. They're like, we keep giving you all these things, and what does your group do?
I know.
You know what I really want from you, Zoom?
I don't think they're poor. We're giving them all of these ideas for free, Tamara. They're for free. They're not even getting a focus group to do this work.
We are the product.
I don't take notes. I don't really take notes, period. But when I do, I'm a typing kind of guy. But my daughter, who's in nursing school, just got an iPad, and she will never go back.
Yeah.
For taking notes. She says it's.
I legit use AI Companion for everything, and when I don't have it, I'm like, oh, I forgot to enable it on that because it is so
from your meetings.
Yeah, I just the fact that I don't have to have a meeting notes person anymore and that I don't have to be that person, or someone will ask me like weeks down the road, didn't we talk about? And I'm like, hold please, yes, we did. And here's our little task list. It's brilliant. And the stuff that they've done with the docs and things in the back is really great too. So
You know what
I'm
we haven't played with or
becoming
talked
more
about?
impressed.
You know what we haven't played with or talked about, and then I'm coming to you, Hasmuk, is remember the in Zoom, sorry, I'm opening it up. In the Zoom mobile app, the ability to do this, yeah, it's still there, the record button, and the ability to have a live meeting also be parsed. And I have an upcoming meeting. I'm going to go ahead and start recording on my phone. Yeah, so it's now, oh, okay. So it's now just recording this meeting that I'm in, and I can see the transcript going, and presumably for this also, Robert, I would love to have to be able to take notes. And right now you can't, at least on the phone version of this. That would be incredibly powerful to be able to for a live meeting, an in-person meeting, to also have an iPad on the side, be able to take notes and have those automatically connected to the transcription that you're doing of that Zoom meeting. That's fantastic. Hasmuk, go ahead.
Yeah, at some stage, I'm keen to get some feedback on those who may or may not have played with Zoom ISO version 3.
Who's played with it?
I'm running it right now.
Peter's played with it.
Yeah. Had lots. I went through 4 different builds from Andy to get it to work on my Mac Pro.
Which was just discontinued, by the way.
I know.
Your Mac Pro.
I understand, but I don't know if I probably still the cheapest 128 gig of memory I've ever gotten these days, because that's what that
So
Mac. I have the 2023 M2 Ultra Mac Pro with 128 gig of memory, which, by the way, Fusion, DaVinci Fusion will use it quite nicely.
so what were the builds what were the problems that you were having with ISO?
So let me read you the exact quote from Andy, and it was interesting. Let me get it up here from Discord. It was a private Discord chat. That's what, otherwise I would have shared it with you. But let's see. In our OSC interface, some information about our output configuration is only available via a getter. As a result, Companion is polling us for the information every second. Combining that with a bug inside the Apple Swift engine, where it is internally doing an improper typecast, and we end up with erratic behavior. And that apparently was not happening on any of their machines in their office. And we think they're going back to Apple and say, do you have a problem with either the M2 Ultra itself or large memories? Because I'm sure I'm an edge case in terms of size of the memory, but anytime I started it, it would go south the minute I tried to change window focus.
Interesting.
That and I needed to I spent a lot of time with clock scoping out, finding out there is a problem with a version of audio hijack that they have since fixed, by the way. Audio hijack fixed what they had to fix.
And that's also on the M2 Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because I've just ordered one. Now you're scaring me.
You just ordered an M2 Ultra?
Yeah. MacBook Pro Ultra.
What machine? What
It's
computer?
a MacBook. It's a MacBook Pro.
MacBook Pro M2 Ultra.
Ultra.
Well, see, I had my MacBook is an M2 Max. You couldn't get the M2 Ultra, I don't think, on the MacBook. You could get the M2 Max on the MacBook.
Have I made a mistake? Just let me check that. Maybe I've just messed something up.
At least
While
when I
he's
went,
checking, Hasmuk, what have you played with it?
No, I haven't had the opportunity, so I was keen to figure out how folks are doing.
I'm on 3.0.1, to be quite honest with you, if I look at it right now, but it's been rock solid. And I can feed my DeckLink quad card quite nice and get 8 outputs to my ATEM, or I could feed 15 outputs quite nice to my Mimo Live instance and just consume them straight across.
Any of the new things that Andy shared last week with us that you've played with?
The only thing I've played with meaningful is the audio routing stuff, which is where I found the bug in audio hijack, which I have to give Rogue Amoeba kudos. It was like fixed within 10 hours of me reporting it.
Cool.
So they understand where they live in life. So if you just update, it was actually to the ARC, which is their audio kit that they install on Tahoe. And again, keep in mind, I'm running Tahoe, folks, so I can't speak for Sequoia or anything less. Now I'm being recorded.
Sorry. No. So I'm just opening up. So I'm now running traditional Zoom and ISO on the same computer. I'm just loading up some.
That's stupid.
So if David freezes soon, we know why.
No, I'm not going to freeze. Come on.
Right. I'm running it on an Mac Mini.
So I've got four cameras in here. Let me change this. Participant.
I've excuse me. I've played with that, and like you can essentially shade cameras and things like that.
Yeah, that's the part of this that is both amazing and I have just I don't understand at all. All the the waveform, the vector scope, the histogram, I don't understand that at all.
Because you don't use DaVinci Resolve Fusion. David, I
But
don't want
look
to
at
be
this.
nasty.
I can already make Peter look so much better.
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can also give me a red face if you're not careful.
No, I'm not going to do that. Hold on, I'm being gentle here. Just trying to. I'm trying to.
But that's the point: is you can correct video images from talent that comes in.
Right.
Up to a point. If their camera's really bad, their camera's really bad. But
It's still pretty cool.
and then the audio, the fact that one of the things you can do is introduce delay, so you can potentially fix audio sync issues too.
But that color grading option for a participant depends a lot on your monitor, isn't it? I mean, the way you
Well,
have.
if it's to point being, it's not. I don't know about you, but none of my monitors are truly calibrated.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about color, and he looks better. Let me actually go back. You can. That's what he started with.
Mm-hmm. No, that looks great. That's great.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Now, the key to remember though is if you just go into the meeting, that's not
Right.
nobody's seeing that color correction.
Right.
That's truly whatever you're sending out either to
Right.
the isolated data feed somewhere or to the recording.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing I haven't tried yet which is, be quite honest, is the ISO recording features now are built in.
It
That's what
doesn't
I'm waiting
affect
for.
your stream either, Peter.
David, just be careful with NDI because you're on your home network. You will
Yeah.
mess up your home network very quickly if you're on Wi-Fi and starting throwing NDI feeds out.
No, I'm not on Wi-Fi, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not even capturing this anywhere, so don't worry about it. It's not going anywhere. Although I could actually. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Now.
Like a kid that you tell, don't do this, and of course he does it.
Oh no, but wait, you know what? I'm on the same computer, so I can do Siphon also, couldn't I?
Siphon, except you won't get any audio that way.
Well, I don't want audio anyway, so
Details.
yep. Zoom ISO. All right, let's do this. Pull him up
Tamara,
there.
I think you missed the conversation last week when Andy was on and David was saying he was using Siphon and getting audio across, and
I was there for that.
okay, and Andy was going, huh?
It's like, really?
All right. Okay. I know. I didn't know what I was talking about.
I've never listen, I don't understand any of this stuff because I'm like layperson here. But I've now wanted to like learn more. And I'm like, I don't even know where I go to learn this stuff. Like that's how lame I am.
Office hours.
Yeah, you say that, but you guys scare me.
I started trust me, I knew none of this stuff whenever Office Hours started. And all I did was consume and listen for
the
first year, except when somebody talked about chip design. Then I could actually raise my hand and talk somewhat intelligently about it. But
no, I cannot diss the office hours community because they continually answer all of my lame questions and sit with me and help me all the
You know
time.
what I just noticed, everyone?
what did you just notice?
So I'm capturing Peter
Yes.
into my Ecamm over Siphon. And now that I'm doing that, I can't, none of the color grading stuff works.
Once you
So
you commit to color grading the first time, unless you stop, you have to. Now you should
David,
be.
David, right now, stop sending, and I bet you'll be able to tweak it
no,
again.
actually, I can't. Look at that. I did stop the send.
Could be a bug.
Yeah, and now I don't have the controls are gone.
You broke it.
I broke it. Yeah. Try one more time.
Here, let me try
Oh,
something.
now I got it back. Maybe I just need to close out.
Oh,
'Cause
did you have that open when you're still sending?
Oh, look at that. Now it's gone
That
again.
would probably, they would probably disable that if it's sending, David.
Right.
Right. But then when I stop sending,
Then you have complete control.
I still don't have control of it anymore. I have to go out of it and go back in.
Yeah, they're not going to want that quote unquote web page open that you
Right.
have.
Because you don't want someone by accident going, oops. Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
That's
yep,
actually a bug because if you go whoops and you start playing with it, and not seeing any changes, and then go out and come back in, it'll then apply the changes, does it?
I don't think so. I think it only applies to changes if I click apply. Actually, you're right. I should be able to, if I have him, oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry. If I have him in as a siphon source, I should be able to still over here make adjustments. Oh, you can't see this. Can you see this? Oh, wait, let me move this. I should still be able to make adjustments over here, have it show on the preview, and then when I click apply, have it push out to the siphon source. But I can't, once I start capturing a source via siphon, I can't make any adjustments at all.
Yeah, but if you change them radically, David, just for a second,
Yeah.
and then stop the feed and then switch it back on again, does it
Okay.
apply your changes then?
So
Because that'll be
I'm not
scary.
gonna. So I made those changes, but I'm not clicking apply. And now I'm gonna go ahead and turn off this source. Boom. And I'll come back here. So now in order, because again, I still can't do anything. So now I'm gonna click out of this, and it asks me, you've unapplied output effects. You'll lose these if you close the window.
Okay. Okay.
So now,
Okay.
now the question is,
And now it's back to where it was before that.
Good.
so if I ask permission to record right now, can somebody approve me? Because I'm
I just
curious.
did.
Okay. Because I'm curious, because you're probably on a different version of the beta than I am. And I'm curious if they've made changes.
I'm not sure that I'm even on a beta, to be honest with you. I think I'm just on the regular one.
Well, the beta came out the original beta was 3.0.0 beta, version 3 beta. I'm on 3.0.1. That's why I'm curious.
Okay, so now I'm grabbing him via NDI, mostly because Robert told me not to. And so now I'm gonna change, and it's the same thing. So once I've started the capture engine, the output, once I've set the output device, I can't control any of this. If I apply and then close and open up again, it doesn't even keep the changes that I made if I apply.
But
Right,
you
so I
didn't,
made all these
you
changes.
didn't close that feed completely, did you?
No,
'Cause
I
can
didn't
still
touch
see
the
the
feed.
window.
I didn't touch the feed. So now, okay, this is definitely a bug. So here's what's happening. Let me just get out of this. Okay, so I've started capture via either siphon or NDI. I open up the output effects. I can make changes now, not a problem. But if I have this turned off and I open this up first, then I enable the source, whatever you call it. Now I can't make changes. And let me click apply. It won't even accept the apply. Won't even do anything. I close that out. I open it again. Now I can make changes. Now let me see if these changes, when I click apply, will go through to my source.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, David, we have breaking news from YouTube. A person that is called Andre Carluccio is telling us to say you can set up a siphon output, then open output effects and adjust. And then it will go to the siphon output when you click apply.
Yeah, so that doesn't seem to be working. So
Okay.
I've got my siphon output here. Zoom ISO. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. I want this guy. Okay. So this is my siphon output, right? Let me actually just to make sure, let me I'm gonna delete all the rest of these. So I make sure that I'm not grabbing him from somewhere else by accident.
Good job. I was confused as to which which output you
Yeah.
were dealing with.
Okay, so now I've just got him here. He is only coming out as siphon. And in Ecamm Live, in a moment, yeah, Zoom on ISO V3, right? Okay. So let me just also say it's entirely possible this is user error, but the way what it seems to me is that when I'm capturing him as a source, then in ISO, look at that, it kept my, let me reset this. I make adjustments.
Right.
Now,
And again, Andy does have an update when you're ready, David.
yeah, hold on a second. Because now I'm, let me start this over. Let me turn this off. Give me 1 second. Okay. So we think the bug, Andy, is when I have the output effects open, then I start the engine. Is this the order? Yes. Then in that order, I then don't have any controls over my output effects.
Correct.
If, however, I start the engine first and then open it. So if I start here and then open it, no, sorry, was it the other way around? Wait, now I'm confused. Let me go back to, okay, so help me out here, folks. All right, if I open this up and I make adjustments.
Yeah.
Well, now
So I have another update from Andy too when you're ready, David.
Go ahead. Yeah, just jump in. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first comment that Andy made was you just did it and it worked. The problem is when you change the output device while the output effects window is open.
Right.
Okay. And the other then he made a comment, right. When you destroy and recreate the feed by changing the output device while output effects is open, the changes don't apply.
Right. Okay. So I now do not have an output device. I've not brought them in anywhere. I've just got Robert up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on Siphon. Now he's brought up and I'm capturing him. Now I'm going to open this. And I don't seem to have any control over this. Let me turn that off.
Oh, David, and
Yeah.
Andy's got steps for you. He says step 1, set output device.
Yep.
Step 2, open output effects window.
Yep.
You did the reverse.
Well, I've done both. So you're right. You're absolutely correct. So I'm going to cancel this. So if I open this first, color grade, and then assign an output device, that's when we're seeing it's not working. Okay, absolutely. So the order should be, just trying to reset everything to the extent that I can. So the order should be, first choose your output device, siphon, then double click. But again, Andy, the problem is I still have no control in here. Now, when I do have control, I believe, is when I don't have an output device. Oh, now I don't even. Let me. I'm going to restart Zoom ISO. See if that makes a difference. I want to say again, loud and clear, that I'm 99% sure that this is all user error. So we're not doing this to find problems in Zoom ISO. We're doing this to try and figure out how normal people like me can use these tools.
What's the funny box you're showing?
Okay. No. Sorry about that. Okay. So now let me change the view just so it's not, okay.
Andy, further comment says you should be allowed to do it in any order, and that's not working. Will be looked into.
Gotcha. Okay. So I've now restarted the engine. And I'm gonna, whoops. I'm gonna just make this a little smaller over here. Okay. So now let's go to video outputs. I'm going to choose a participant. I'm going to choose Mike. Can I pick on you, Mike? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So there's Mike. Now, here's, I think, how I would do it. The way I would do it is, before I assign him, I would want to color grade him. I would want to turn his exposure down, or turn the contrast up, or do something ridiculous to make him look silly. Okay. That's how I would want to do all this before I assign an output. Then I would come over here to siphon. And it doesn't look to me. Now, I didn't click apply.
That's the key.
Let me go back. Sorry about that. I didn't click apply. Let me click apply. It's still not.
No, it didn't do anything.
Yeah. Reset all. Try this. See, now look at this. This is interesting. So I reset all, and look, I'm still getting the effects here. See that?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's almost like now they're gone. It's almost like it's not the cache. Maybe it's just a cache issue. I don't know. But okay, so now, so again, the way that I would do this is I would choose a participant. I would, before setting the output, I would open this. I would adjust the temperature. I would adjust the tint, and look at this. None of these controls are working now. Okay. Interesting.
You are a very talented person, David.
But
no, I'm not being nasty here. I'm saying that you're a programmer's dream, because you're doing all this testing and grabbing all of these inconsistencies and you're just feeding them back. It's really good.
Or
See, look at
nightmare.
that. So I just did the same thing. So I shaded him, made him look crazy. I hit apply. Then I assigned him to an output, and that output is not capturing those adjustments that I just made.
Nope.
And no, wait a second. Look at this. It thinks that this is Roland. Why?
Because it is Roland. It is Roland feeding you his Zoom ISO of his color corrected.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait a second. Really? Oh my God. How am I supposed to do anything, you guys? That's
Good job,
funny.
Roland.
That's funny. But here again, you can see I've got the saturation way up and it's not coming through on the actual grab. So, okay. All right. Reset. And then when I reset, it's also not applying. Zoom ISO 1. Yeah, maybe this is, I don't know. Maybe it's a cache issue. I don't know. Or more likely, it's a David issue. So in answer to your question, Hasmuk, yeah, we've played a little bit with, not much though.
Robert said to us, a programmer's dream.
Because I break everything.
Maybe a nightmare. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
No, it's actually very difficult to get people to test beta
Oh,
test
absolutely.
programs. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
John, go ahead.
Well, backwards now, my 2 points. So my new point was that I actually found a bug in breakout rooms where if people are coming into the meeting and you want to send them to a breakout room, you know, to vet who they are, there is an ongoing bug that's been around for a couple of months, but it's a very edge case and Zoom have had a lot of trouble trying to fix it. I managed to create that edge case, and then when I was challenged, it went away. But fortunately, I'd screen recorded the first time when it went wrong. So I was able to send that to the Zoom engineers so that they now have a recording seeing how what goes wrong. And the reason I think they're finding it hard to fix is because the error doesn't happen to the host. The error happens to the person trying to join the meeting. They get a crash report from Zoom, and that either means that they never get into the meeting, or if they do get into the meeting, what's worse is they don't get into the meeting via the breakout room. They end up in the main room. So the breakout room feature breaks in that case, which is why Zoom are really keen to try and fix it. It's an edge case, doesn't happen all times, but I have one of my licenses where I can make that go wrong every time. I have another one of my licenses where it works as it should every time. So if you do find a problem,
why would it work on some license and not on others?
Well, my theory is that my one that doesn't work defaults to having the waiting room. My one that works defaults to not having the waiting room. So I have to activate the waiting room to get it to work. So there are differences in the configuration between the two licenses I've got. They're set up. So there'll be config files and settings, whatever, buried in there, which are different. So that's what I believe the error is. So the fact that David has shown this not to be working on YouTube, so people can play it back, including Mr. Coloccio, you can play it back and you can see the steps you went through. It's always more valuable to programmers to see exactly the steps you do. Because if you tell somebody what you did, you'll tell them what you think you were going to do, not what actually happened when it crashes.
Yeah.
But talking about, oh, sorry, Mike, if you want to chime in there, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to chime in that Victor actually has another breakout room question as well, too, that he's been patient while David has been showing everybody Zoom ISO version 3.
Sorry, Vic.
I recently had a problem joining breakout rooms After updating Zoom and Mac OS, I isolated the problem to being caused by my defective Netgear switch. Now, networking and breakout rooms, that does not compute. So, John, could this be related to what you're talking about?
No, it's more likely to be related to the issue that happened in version 7 that they froze, because there was a problem with people trying to rejoin and getting chats to rejoin, and they couldn't work. So it could be related to that issue. But do remember that from the software side of it, when you join a breakout room, you are in Zoom's world, leaving one Zoom and joining another Zoom, which is why there's a hesitation between them.
If people want to, I did just open a couple breakout rooms that you can jump in and out of. We can test that a little bit. Roland, did you want to jump in?
No, I was just going back to the Zoom ISO question. Yes, I have played with it. It's still it's stable. The shading, that section, the workflow is a little wonky, but it works. One of the things I like though is that you can actually save the profiles. So you can set the presets for the shading. You can save it so you can recall it again if it needs to be, and then edit from that. That's actually very nice. I mean, another feature I discovered before Zoom, the version 3 was that you could even save your participant combinations. So you could, for example, you want to use it with one event. These are the participants or the participant shares, however you want to set it. We could save that as a preset and recall it. So those are pretty nice. Overall, nice, stable features. It's the other feature that is interesting is the in the guts with the NDI in terms of HX versus the full H NDI. That's also interesting. I'm not sure, but I mean, I have to test it a little bit more. It seemed that when you switch to HX to use that one, it seems that it used a little bit more CPU trying to do that. I don't know if it's because it's compressing and then so that's something I just have to look at. But overall, pretty very good. And the ability to see the little the windows of the videos before the previews is actually lovely. Really lovely. That makes a real big difference. Before, you just had to know that they were there and you have to do that in your head. And check and look back and switch between screens to see what was happening. Now it's just there. You select the participant, you see if they're all right away, and you're good to go. So pretty good.
It's like a multi-view. It's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, you can go ahead, Asma can give it a run. It's stable. I mean, the other thing that seems to happen too is that the beta will install alongside version 2. So you don't necessarily have to uninstall version 2. You can have version 3 running separate on the same. It didn't even, so I now have both running. So I can switch between if I want to, which was also good.
So you have them both running at the same time?
I haven't done that. I just so it didn't overwrite version 2.
Okay.
It just created a new.
Okay.
So basically I was able to. I thought it would. It didn't, and then I noticed. Oh wait, it's version 2 is there by itself. And version 3 said, oh great. So no overwrite. It's just there, so you can switch between. I haven't tried running both at the same time. No, just switching between them when I want.
I want to give Roland a class prize. Being the most successful student as far as WLM meters are concerned.
Whoa.
He's been in the range throughout as he speaks. I am really impressed.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Congratulations. That's a big deal, Roland. Wow. And from the owner of the meters. I mean, that's, yeah. John, go ahead. Oh, can't hear you, John.
I'm spotlighting the meters before I start, I think. So talking of meters, if you do the little hat next to your microphone and you choose the test speaker and microphone option, instead of recording you for so many seconds and then playing it back, it now waits for you to pause and then it plays back. And then if you talk to it again, it will wait until you pause and then it will play it back to you again. So it's much more user friendly.
Yep.
Very cool. Now, something that has come up as David stepped away quickly is that there's a bit of reluctancy to the good old moving from version 6 to version 7, A, and then B, with the current situation of there being the minor revisions this week after 7.0 was released. Some, including our friend Tony Mobley, that is probably going to use Zoom for Easter Sunday, and many people that are going to use probably Zoom for Easter Sunday, that there's a bit of concern of, should I upgrade? There's that infamous, should I upgrade to the latest version?
Well, it's interesting because if you paid it, because all they did was give us Mac users, and Tony is a Mac user, all they did was give us back 7.0.0. They didn't change the build number or the version release number. Didn't change anything. They did for Windows, they did for iOS, they did for Android, but not for the Mac itself. So
yeah, so again, I'm running right now 7.0.1 on Windows, and I have been stable. So I should be running in, if I ideally was concerned about the latest version of 7.0.2 for Windows, it would, again, I would be fully patched. But again, I am running currently 7.0.1, and knock on wood, I did all of John's show today with 7.0.1, and I'm doing Zoom Test Kitchen so far with 7.0.1 on Windows.
But
So
John,
I'm not running.
which, unless I misread the notes, they didn't touch the Mac client itself, did they?
Correct.
They just handed it back to us and said, okay, you can get it now. Because I had one machine that wasn't upgraded. I went to upgrade it. And where's it going? That was day before yesterday.
Correct. I think they pulled all of them for safety's sake, but they have not made a change to the Mac version. So the Mac version that's out there is
the
one version.
Okay, if we finish that, I just want to come back on to Peter. My mistake. It's M2 Mac Pro Max, not
Yeah,
Ultra.
which is the same as my laptop that's sitting in front of me.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, so I was listening to you because I was really concerned of the limitations that you were talking about,
No,
because that's a machine I want to have portable to go on site with.
I installed. That was one of the things that got Andy and his team really interested. I mean, I have, if I were actually back in my home office, I'd had this MacBook M2 Max, right? I had my Mac Pro, which is, M2 Ultra. And then I had one of the M4 Pro Mac Minis, which is, by the way, what I'm talking to you on right now. And then I had a couple of just plain old M4 Mac Minis. The only machine I could consistently make it fail on was the Mac Pro with the M2 Ultra. And I could do it every single time. And I've got the IPS files, John, to prove it. And I sat with Talk till almost 1 o'clock in the morning one night. We were trying to capture various diagnostic options to try and figure out why it was like that. But I could run it on my MacBook just fine. Thank you very much. So I would feel confident it was something unique about the memory model on that size machine, right? And I've chased those problems before in a past life when I had more control over the operating system, and I can't use the appropriate language that comes to mind that would describe that diagnostic environment. I could, but you banned me from the show forever.
Hasmuth, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking today, I'm skirting on the edge in this show, so I need to be careful before I also get banned. Um, yeah. Um, just thinking, I don't know where to ask this question, but is there ever a need to send a return feed to a remote talent? And if that is possible, how does one achieve that?
The only way I
Uh,
know of, how Hosmuth is to
mm,
is you see it on office hours all the time, right? They send a return feedback on a separate window, right? But it's not, unfortunately, it's not, since you can either reply or make changes, but you can't unless I'm missing something. It doesn't look like you could make the changes and have the talent see what you're doing until you've applied it.
so yeah, here's where I'm coming from. So the use of Zoom ISO with a talent in studio is where I send the ISO feed to the teleprompter so that the talent can actually see the person that
Mm-hmm.
they're having a conversation with. But now if they're remote, I'm not able to do that.
Well, you could send it just on a overlay, whatever you're sending back to the remote. I mean, it's a Zoom meeting. You can send it back on a different, just a different view. I mean,
To the talent only.
to the talent only. Oh, that's a different
Yes.
question. Sorry, I missed
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
no, unless you were bringing them in on separate Zoom sessions,
Right.
then the answer is no.
Or from a breakout room on the same meeting.
Yeah, or breakout room. You
Ah.
could send them to a breakout room, and you could
Yeah.
send that feed into the breakout room. Says this is what you look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to be
So
careful with audio so that you don't duplicate the audio because
yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
get messed up.
In my sort of new setup that I have been playing with, which I haven't really executed, is and I shall be careful with my advisor, consultant. Um, uh, so it was suggested that I run Zoom ISO on a separate machine, not on my production machine. And if I want to ISO somebody, then I need to put them into a breakout room. And then there's another second machine. So there's the production machine, and then there's the Zoom ISO machine, and then there's the broadcast machine. So the broadcast machine is what goes out. So this is to overcome the latency issue when I put somebody, because all I'm doing currently is ISO somebody and put them back into the same meeting. So obviously it goes through the ISO and through the ATEM, and there's obviously going to be a latency issue. So to overcome that latency issue, I've been told that I've been doing that incorrectly for years. So I thought I learned something very well on how not to do it. Um, but so I've got this more elaborate setup, and the more elaborate setup with Dante included is I used to run Zoom ISO on the production machine, and that's the machine that went out into program. But now it's been suggested that I rather use Zoom ISO on a separate Mac Mini and another Mac Mini to be the broadcast machine, and it's that broadcast machine that goes out to air. or to program. And to instead of what I did before on my production machine with Zoom ISO, if I ISO a participant and let's say put them up in a 2-up, right, with mix effect, I should not be doing that. I should be doing the ISO on a separate machine, but at the same time, I actually need to put them into a breakout room. So I guess Zoom ISO itself is in the breakout room. Have I confused everybody?
I'm just wondering if by moving the setup for the studio to online, you're not overthinking it, not overcomplicating it. Because um, if I've understood you correctly, Hasmak, what you're actually trying to do is what David does here in the Zoom test kitchen with Ecamm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that we're seeing the feed that goes out, so that the talent can also see that feed.
Mike's not showing. Mike's
No,
shaking his head no.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this, sorry, Peter.
No, go
This
ahead,
is
husband. I'm just trying to figure out your flow,
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
program.
No, this is separate from my previous question, which was the return feed. So this has nothing to do with the return feed. So as I said, I built it and I tested it, and I wasn't quite sure why I'm doing it, but and that part is something that I may need some kind of input. Maybe what I'll do is share my H2R, the graphics, the wiring,
H2R layout.
H2R gear.
Yeah.
So H2R gear with that. Maybe some folks can review and give me some kind of comments.
Yeah. The quick answer that I can give you, Hasmut, is that if it's local, keep it hardware. Once you need to get it remote, then start using software. Does that make sense to you? So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you are already using Zoom ISO to put, if you're using Zoom ISO for a confidence monitor, no, you're overcomplicating it.
No, I'm not doing that. Yeah,
Okay, so that should be
yeah.
be a designated, because again, you have the 2ME
Mm.
rack mount unit, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And it's got a lot of outs, right? So I would be utilizing a lot of those outs to do
Oh,
certain things,
oh,
right?
that is my setup. So in studio setup is that the talent is looking at the teleprompter on which I normally show them the grid view, either the zoom grid view or tiles view,
Right.
depending. If if none of the participants are speaking, I show them the tiles view. So because then there's that latency as well with tiles view running on another machine. Uh, Then in studio they have a confidence monitor, which is one of the outputs from the ATEM program out. So they can always see that. So I'm not mixing that. But if somebody puts up their hand, I then ISO that person in Zoom, and that ISO goes to one of my extended monitors, right? That's where I put them. And then I cut the show with that ISO person in that extended monitor with a 2-up with mix effects. So everybody in program is seeing it's like spotlighting two people. So they see the two folks, and I also then bring in H2R graphics to put their name into the program. So
Right.
everybody knows who's speaking and they can see the name. But for the talent, I switch them from the grid view of the meeting and I show them the ISO participant. So they on their screen, they only see the ISO person instead of the grid view, so that they have almost a immersive eye contact with that person that's asking a question or having conversation. So what the talent is seeing is the ISO person on the teleprompter. What the rest of the participants are seeing in program is a two-up.
Right. So the conversation would be as if you were spotlighting that person
You got it.
in theory, right?
Yeah,
Now,
you got it.
right. But what I would also do too is that, and again, this is depending on, and in studios, they will, a lot of the time, they'll have two monitors on the actual teleprompter computer, like with the main camera that the person's looking at. They'll have in the teleprompter themselves will be either program or what the camera's showing, or yeah, so it's either or. And what they'll have is another monitor attached right underneath the teleprompter, and that is usually 9 times out of 10 program. So now the talent knows what is actually live all the time, and that is stuck in that monitor.
Yeah, got you.
Right?
I've
So
seen
that becomes your confidence monitor in a studio.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at a venue, what they will often do is they'll have two angled televisions at the front of stage.
Mhm.
One of them will be, if you are, that could be tiles, and one of them could be always programmed.
Mhm.
Right. So again,
Correct.
they always know if they're on camera or they're not on camera, depending on what you've done with them, 2 box, 3 box, whatever. Right. So that's not abnormal that you will actually see that on site with two, and in studio, teleprompter and a monitor right underneath it.
Gotcha.
Does that help more or no?
Well, instead of having the monitor on the teleprompter that's showing program, I just have a separate Lilliput 7-inch monitor on the desk to show them the
Right.
program.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
giving it to them so they can look just straight down if they want to.
Yeah.
Now the
so
only problem with that is that because you're having them look down, they're not looking at the camera now.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
That's why you always want them to be looking at the camera all the time. That's why
Yeah.
in the larger studios they'll have it. The teleprompter will have the teleprompter information, but right underneath that is normally either themselves or program. 9 times out of 10, it's program.
Well, 10 out of 10 times I'm using the teleprompter to show the gallery view and or the ISO person. So they very seldom look at the confidence monitor. What I do tell them that if you are not certain what participants are seeing, especially when they say, are they seeing my slides? Are they seeing my slides? I always say, just glance at the confidence monitor and you can see what they are seeing. So that gives them it's the same as the 7-inch Lilliput is on a desk instead of underneath the monitor.
Right. Yeah, and again, you'll see on larger shows as well. They'll actually have a television on a rolling stand,
Mm-hmm.
and that will have usually
The
program.
program. Yeah. Got you.
And it's again, it comes down to making sure that the talent understands instead of doing the silliness of, oh, am I on?
Exactly.
Right. You get away from the infamous.
Exactly.
Yes, you are. Look over here. Look at that TV. That TV will tell you all the time. You even have to use the word TV instead of monitor. If this TV shows that you see yourself on that TV monitor, then everybody else is seeing you too.
Yeah, what I did is I have another small 7-inch monitor that I use for, again, driven by H2R graphics, is the timer, of course, and also when I ISO somebody, they see the person in ISO, but they don't see the person's Zoom name on the teleprompter. They will see the Zoom name appear on this H2R graphics monitor because they're not seeing two up. They just see the ISO feed. But on that same HDR graphics monitor, we have a you are muted graphic. So we always tell them you are on air when that mute graphic disappears. So don't ask me whether I'm on or not. You are on when that mute button is gone. So that's really how I've done it. So they're all kind of accustomed to it. So they don't ask me, am I on or not? They just say, look at the monitor.
John Idelson. Hi.
Hello, hello. I was just showing my latest way where I check I'm on. It's a little handheld monitor, wireless.
That's cute. What is that?
It's a monitor that you could attach to an iPhone wirelessly and do screen sharing. And then let me see if I could. There you go. So there it is.
What's the name of it?
It is called this Snappy Lens. So it has its
Snappy
normal
Lens?
use would be you stick it on the back of an iPhone so that when you're using the better lenses on the other side, you could see what you're taking a picture of. But what's nice about
Snappy
it is
Lens.
this. Let's see if I can do this. So
Does it
now
come
in
up
my hand, I have a
quickly?
picture of everything. So now, yeah, I can see I'm on air. So if I'm looking at this, I see me. And if you speak,
So did you join the Zoom through your phone?
no, I'm in a separate Zoom meeting, but I have, this is the stream, but it
Right.
could be the Zoom meeting.
Oh, that's the stream from YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
what I'm saying is, for confidence monitors, if I know what I'm doing, we started this with the parts people who needed to see whether they really on or not or what they were doing. We did a Zoom call and they literally have it in their hand. So if they ever want to see what's looking or if they need to see somebody who's talking to them, they just go like that.
What's the latency like on that? Because I got the small rig one and I'm not 110% excited about it.
I have the small rig one and I don't know the difference between these two. There is a little bit of latency. That is true.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. Like right now, I have the YouTube, so that's the whole distance of whatever the delay is YouTube. But if I do with a Zoom meeting, I don't have any latency that is noticeable.
Cool. I got the small rig one because it had the you could put it on a tripod and it was like I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
it
I'm
had
gonna
the
love this. It has the
recorder
little
thing on it.
yeah. So I thought, oh, this is great. And then I'm like, it's not as great as I want it to be. I still think it's great, but it's not as great. You could put it on a tripod and it was like
And John, has it worked well? Have you ever had to contact service? Because there's a lot on Reddit about the service they provide.
About this particular one, or
Yeah.
I haven't had any trouble, but I'm sure if there are troubles, we'll find out because typically the stuff that the Rangers have, they drop it into the pond or whatever.
By the way, David, oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
I was going to say there's a number of people who do this now, but this solved a very particular problem by one ranger who just wanted to know that we couldn't have any conference monitors out there moving around. They wanted to see what's going out, and they were able to. I said, "Put this in your hand. You'll always know what the other people are seeing."
Nice.
David, I was saying, by the way, in office hours today, they had folks from Ecamm.
What about Ecamm?
Folks from Ecamm were there today in office hours.
Oh, they were?
Yep.
What were they doing in
show.
office hours today? I missed it.
telling us
Good
about
question.
dual mode.
Oh, they
yeah,
were there showing off
exactly.
today, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They talked about dual mode and they talked a little bit about how they managed it and
Just curious, who was there?
One of the brothers and
Glenn and
one of
Katie.
the
Oh,
brothers.
that's great. Oh, okay, you got one of the developers. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
it was particularly fun because Oliver was on the panel.
Oh, that is fun. Wow. Okay. That's fantastic.
There's a really particular question when they were doing the dual mode, the horizontal and vertical, and Oliver was asking him how they got it, and they both sort of bemoaned the challenges they have dealing with YouTube and
Yeah.
getting things set up. So I thought it was a fun session, Asmuk. I don't know what you thought about it. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, I watched halfway this afternoon, and so I thought it was fairly very engaging. It was very good.
What that's fascinating. Now I'm scrubbing through it now because I want to see the interactions between does Mimo have dual mode, whatever they're calling it?
It has a way of doing it.
It does.
They're
Okay.
really different. They're aimed at different audiences.
Right.
What would you say Mimo is aimed at?
People who want high-end graphic interaction, Photoshop for
Say the last part again.
Photoshop for video.
Gotcha.
The way I describe it is Photoshop, you take one picture and you spend hours, manipulating every pixel. Now imagine you could do that with frames going at 60 frames per second. The other thing
it's also a mindset conversation, right? If
Yeah.
you understand how Photoshop works with layers, then Mimo is a piece of cake.
And the other thing that
Yeah, I mean, Ecamm is layers also. It's not.
It wasn't when I first tried it 3 years ago.
Really? Yeah. No, it's all layers, but it's but I think the design language is different, and certainly the UI is very different.
The UI is different, but Oliver has embraced APIs. So Oliver has squeezed every bit of juice out of a Mac OS.
Oh yeah.
I need to take a day job thing. I'll be back.
But just talking about the difference, I've used both. I find that Mimo Live is really good if you're using it on site and you've got direct camera feeds and you're doing all of that sort of work. But I personally find Ecamm a lot more flexible and easier to set up, change, and use for online stuff. Mimo Live is actually, the thing about Mimo Live, you got to really have it properly set up before you start the event.
What I use it for mostly is the background graphics on super sources and overlay graphics, and just feeding that straight into my ATEM.
Hey, Tamra, how did you find it? How did you find Ecamm on Thursday night? Like navigating.
I found Ecamm to be amazing. I found my ability to navigate Ecamm and find the buttons on my Stream Deck to be lacking.
Okay.
No,
I watched a part of you, Tamra. You were great. You did a great job.
I was so terrified of Ecamm. No, I actually really was surprised because I've had Ecamm for a while and I use it in a very in not the way Ecamm was designed as I do with all of the things. So it was a good challenge to do that. I found more the juggling of all the pieces. Like I have so much praise for you, David. So Ecamm was not the problem. It was like user error. It was me going, oh, I set my buttons up where I thought I would need them, and then lo and behold, I should have put this row up there and that row, like, but it didn't give me any problems. That wasn't the, even the slow start thing I was able to kind of figure out. So Ecamm was great. I was like, I was like, well, if I had maybe another week to play around. So yeah. So that wasn't Ecamm's problem. Ecamm, it made me excited to do more with Ecamm, really, to be honest with you. That's what it made me do. And Florence, who sat with me yesterday and kind of practiced with me too, she sent me, she's like, you have to go to this boot camp. And I'm like, I will go to the boot camp. Like, I'm ready. So yeah. So
but if I can just give you some feedback, Tamra, I saw part of the show. I didn't see the whole of it. And I was watching, and I could tell, because I know you and I've seen you before, that you were focused on Ecamm. You found it not like David does. David's amazing the way he just
exactly. No, I could
he's
not.
everywhere.
I could not figure out, and this is not an ECAM problem at all. Like I could not figure out where my finger was. I had to keep looking at it. It was something that I was like, once I knew where the layout was, ECAM would be awesome. And then the other thing is that I can do in my other meetings, which is why I love ECAM, is that I can change things on action. And when I adapted for there only to be four of us, I hated the scene the entire time. I hated just the black. I wanted a green background, and I kept looking and I was like, I could do this, but then I just didn't trust myself. So every time we were in a four shot, in my head I was like, I hate this and I could fix it, but I'm not going to fix it
I
because
think
I
we all
don't
need
trust
to get,
myself.
we need to go for lessons to David. In other words, how to deal with the unpredictable outcome when you try to change things.
No,
He's
the truth
yeah,
is that that's a real limitation. Like what in my dream world, what I would have is I would have a responsive scene. I would have a
yeah,
scene that can auto create itself, as it were, for
right.
3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 people.
Like
And then if
Zoom,
someone drops out, it automatically
yeah.
recreates itself. Yeah. Because
ZPS
right
does
now
that, and
it's a pain.
that is one of the things about Zoom Production Studios that is fantastic. You just create a 9-up, and whoever shows up, it recreates itself. And so, like, that was the only thing that I was like, I know how to change this, and I do change things on action, which is why I like Ecamm. Like, I have OBS too, but OBS, like, we're not friends. We're not friends. I know it does all the stuff, but it's so ugly and it's so hard to use. And Ecamm's just not that. And if I had been using Ecamm with preview, which I normally do for my other shows, I would have put someone on screen and redesigned the slide so it looked better. But I was not using that yesterday. I was just using straight to program, which was the first time I'd done it that way. And I liked it. I didn't hate it, but I lost a little limitation of being able to set things up ahead of time.
But one of the things that you said about using Ecamm, David, that really stuck to me, and it stuck to me, but I haven't done it, and I don't do it, is whenever you join a meeting, always join with Ecamm, and then you just get into it. It becomes your workflow.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've never done that, and now I started going, oh, I see the usefulness of that. And sitting with Florence, she actually solved my sound problem that I've had forever that I could not figure out how to get it. She was like, this has never happened to anybody else. We're going to solve this. And I was like, let's do it, because right now I'm entering into 2 meetings with my headset on a different meeting. So I did get really excited about I was able to get really excited about Ecamm actually for the first time doing it. I was like, okay, this is not going as well as you'd like it to be going, but I'm super excited about the knowledge. And it did make me kind of go, okay, now I really want to get into it. Because what I liked about it before was that I can change things in action, and that I can, because a lot of times, my stuff, I deal with a lot of theater people who are used to just like fixing things on the go, and they'll forget to tell me something. They'll be like, hey, do you have this? And with ZPS, you can't fix anything on the go. If you didn't set it up ahead of time or didn't give yourself a backup, you are done for. And Ecamm, you can be like, sure, let me just add 250 paddle raises, which I have done in literally on the fly. Like, so that was fine. It was really operator error and just being kind of understanding the navigation of the show, which I, you know, fumbled through. But that team is so great, and David was great to help me. I don't think I could go that far out of my comfort zone without the group that I had to do that, because I came in and Tony and Dave and Lois were just like, we got you, don't worry about it. And so they really made it work, because I was not in my, you know, I can do one or the other, but doing both, that was the first time for that, at that scale. And it made me excited to like learn more and to figure it out.
What else have we got, folks? Oh, you know what? We never got into that I was thinking about last week. Is remember the custom avatar thing that was in the notes?
Yep.
I have not seen that anywhere. Let's see if I can open it up. Video effects. Where is it? There you are. Okay. Virtual background avatars. Yeah, I don't see that. And I don't know where to see it. And maybe
Yes,
someone else.
I did a YouTube short on it.
Oh, talk to us.
It's really good fun. I
Okay.
used it
How do we get
in-
to it? Oh, we can't hear you. You just muted yourself. You're still muted. John, are you there? There you go.
I was going to play my short for you.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, we might get taken down if we do that. But how do we find it? Where is it? John?
Well, I know there's a plus sign next to.
Well, to find out how to do it, I had to watch my own short, David, to remind me. That's how I've learned how to do it. I've just been watching my short. So if you go into the settings,
Into video and effects?
you need the big video settings. I did it from the main, not from the settings off Zoom apps, because you don't get the full settings, do you? So I went to the full settings and I went to video effects and then avatars. Do you want me to walk through it for everybody?
Yeah, because I don't. Oh, I see it now.
It's hidden in plain sight, I think it's the old
Yes.
phrase, isn't it?
No, I
this
see
one?
it now. It's just not obvious to get there. All right, I can show folks how to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you click on the plus sign.
Right. So you have to click on the plus sign, and now you have these new options. Where are my new options? Hold on. Here they are. Realistic, stylized, or cartoon. Cartoon is what we had before. You cannot create an AI avatar while in a meeting. Well, you know what? Seriously?
It's the same thing as you can't run clips during a meeting because it's using the same video and cameras and
I
etc.
understand that, but that's frustrating. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I will
That's
do that.
because
I didn't. I'm
you're
sorry.
an eCam user where you can do everything on the fly, David.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't realize. So I will do this unless, you know what? Hold on. Mike, I'm passing host to you. And
Alrighty.
I'm leaving and I'm gonna make an avatar and I'll come right back. Bye.
Okay, bye. And I'm playing with my avatar and all that fun stuff too while I've been doing this.
So am I. You said it was hiding in plain sight, John.
I did. Did I do share sound? I didn't do share sound. You're not going to hear it, are you?
Right.
I can't get over when you flip this mouse, the whole thing disappears and it comes back again. Right, so let's go desktop, browser tabs. Browser tabs are cool. Just like to say it again, I just keep saying it, but I think browser tabs are the coolest thing ever. You can choose one browser tab and then do anything you like on the others, and nobody can see it.
No audio, John.
Or for me either.
I think we ran into that YouTube share situation.
Yeah, so I use the middle one because I hadn't done that before. And the first thing you got to do is you got to line yourself up. because it needs to do a 3D image of you because you move about a bit. So that's the fun part. And sometimes you have to look up and down, and sometimes you have to look left and right, and then left and right again. It depends how well it scans you for what you get. Because Mike did it, and he got different moving his heads than I did.
Yeah,
I just had to move the right, but when Mike did it a little while after me, he had to look up and down to get his to work.
Yeah. The actual avatar I was just showing right now too is actually not. It's not actually using that as of yet. That actually was the original one. That was the cartoon one that initially came out that I was just showing of myself.
Yeah, because I don't like the realistic one because it's too realistic, if you know what I mean. I prefer to, when I have an avatar, I like an avatar that looks different to me, but the process is the same.
Yeah.
And one
Very
of the
cool.
useful things is you can have, it seems, multiple versions of this as well. So you can have you can do the style. You're not fixed to just do the one version. You can do the stylized version and the cartoon version, and you can use them both. But they don't do this. There's no hands control.
Yeah.
And when you move the head, it doesn't move all the way across. It will just move a little bit. So it's quite restricted in the movement.
Yeah, which is it's still the same. That again, I'm this is me real. So, but again, if I turn
Is
on
that
my
you real?
avatar, that's me real. That's me being real.
I don't like the way it's editing your head.
But if I do turn on my, let me turn it off again. So you see, hand is up, hand is gone.
Yeah, it doesn't track the hands at all.
Right.
So it's still, with respect to what other people have done, it's still quite limited. Because there's some really good versions of this type of technology out there now. But again, poor old Zoom, we keep asking for all these new features. No wonder it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, avatar up, background up. There we go.
But again, for those people where in those situations they can't be on camera, this is a much better answer than just nothing.
True. At least you can come in with a corporate background, and you could actually come in with a realistic-ish avatar instead of it being a cow. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I know there's got to be a cow pun in there somewhere, so I'm not going down that road, John. I'm just saying.
Okay.
While
I
we
could do a
waiting
bear,
for...
but that means I have to remove my clothes, so perhaps I won't.
Oh,
there we go.
Here comes AI David.
Yeah, so this is the avatar. So the steps
This is
were
photorealistic, David.
Yeah. So the steps were that you could take a picture of yourself, or you could upload a picture. I actually chose to upload a picture instead because of my camera angle. And then it does some matching where it has you turn your head or this or that. And this is what you can choose your outfit. So I put on different
waving,
clothes.
David?
What do you say?
Can you wave?
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, you've got the armless version. Sorry, you can't wave.
Yeah. Can you wave in yours?
No.
No.
None of us can, but we thought we'd catch you out.
Yeah. So
doesn't do humor either, does it very well?
People will know it's not me. I talk with my hands.
No,
here's one that I did with my with taking a picture. And the reason I didn't like this one because in order to get my head framed properly, I had to sit like down in my seat. Where this one actually looks a little better, I think, than the AI one, or the photo one rather. But still, like it's still cutting off my. Maybe I need to change the background a little.
Yeah, can you actually have a background, David, with that on?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. So you can
There we
choose
go.
one of their backgrounds, but
and I noticed that they're definitely watermarking at the top right. Zoom AI avatar.
yeah.
I don't know. It's not real.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really impressed. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
But I look at you, it looks as if you're absolutely stoned. You're just moving slowly. Your eyes are gazing. You're just
like I'm opening my mouth as wide as I can, and like
Yeah. If you tip your head over, David, it doesn't tip over that far either.
yeah, no, it doesn't tip at all. Actually,
Yeah, I think I agree with Robert. It just good drugs were obviously involved, right?
yeah, it's a shame. It's
I guess
yeah.
Hasmut knows Hasmut, you know what you looked like after your operation. This was more or less the state you were in.
Yeah.
I've
That's what.
heard that. Yeah, carry on. Sorry, guys.
No, I was just going to say that's when Hasmith knows that he's on the good stuff. Go ahead.
Now, I've heard the Zoom production studio a few times. Can you tell me more about it? Where and how, and can you still have meetings, or is it just webinars? How does that work?
Just in Webinar Plus and events.
Yeah. Again, Johnny and I use it for all of our shows. So all of our shows are Webinar Plus, which again, yes, it is not meetings. It is not webinar. It's Webinar Plus. And Production Studio has been awesome. Like today, Roland and John joined us for our show earlier today, and I was able to bring them in as a 4-box. But again, they were not panelists, they were attendees. But again, I wasn't able, they didn't need to be, and we didn't have enabled video, but we could have. But we did bring them in, and I actually was able to have them up. And what I ended up having coming up was actually their no camera. It was as if they had no camera on, and you just see, like you see right now with Roland, it just has his picture. So that's what we actually had. And it was in production studio.
Technically, they were still in the audience as attendees, but I enabled their microphones, and that allowed them to come on stage as a profile picture.
Right.
But
so they joined the panelists as a profile picture, but because I left them as attendees, they had a profile picture and not anything else. But that still allowed them to be in production studio and be a 4-box or 2-box or whatever Mike pulled up. They could be part of it.
And you can promote them to panelists and bring them. There's a backstage area, which I really like. And then you can bring them from backstage onto the stage.
Yeah. You can promote them either way, Tamara. You can promote them directly to backstage, or you can promote them onto the stage, depending on how you want to deal with them. Yeah, we used it on Sunday for a lot. We just switched over on Sunday for office hours, so we used it for Sunday. I like a lot about it. There's things that I don't like about it, but I really love that backstage area. And I've played around with it with theater pieces where I've actually put the audience in the backstage and then made them so that they had a shared viewing experience together. They can clap, they can talk, and it doesn't affect things. So I've played around with it in a lot of different ways, but the tools are very easy to use. I've given it to like kids who don't know anything about anything. And that's one of the things that's great about it is you can really set your scenes up, put everything in there. The downside is truly, if you are someone who has ever created anything on the fly, you will want to lose your head because it literally, you're in production, you'd have to close the entire webinar out to set something and to put it back in. So it's great if they are super planned and nothing goes bad, or you have thought in advance. You can have up to 50 scenes, I think. And now they have video where you can play and like you can put an hour video in there and scrub through it and check it. And like, there are some really great things about it. That tool was really well developed. We had some sync issues when we went out to Zoom. I mean, when we went out to YouTube. So that was one of our things that we just couldn't ever quite get to work. But the tool itself is really impressive, particularly if you're not a camera switcher.
So if you're simulating a meeting kind of setup, everybody could be promoted as panelists. so everybody's in the same
Yes.
webinar.
Yeah, you
Eh,
could
but-
cheat
But
like
there's-
that. You could have a webinar and just make them all panelists.
No, just a minute. But the effect is the attendees will see each other like in a Zoom meeting. They'll have a small window where the
Right.
the output is, but it won't change the effect of the meeting like David is doing in Ecamm. Yeah.
Right.
So that's not the intention. It's specifically for webinars.
Right.
But I'll tell you what I really like about it is if you have a whole day event where you've got people coming in, going out, coming in, you've got the backstage, you bring them in, you set them up, you push them up. You don't know if the first guy is going to be finished and you bring the second guy on at the same time. You've got a lot of flexibility in that way. And the other thing is, like Tamara said, when you've set up the media, you've put in the media, playing it and controlling it is really very easy. It's simplified. And the beauty about it is that you can give the control to switch to anyone who is in there as a panelist.
Yeah.
So that is really powerful because if you need to go off for an hour, you can just hand it over either online or whatever in the studio to another user. And it's really intuitive to use. If that person's been sitting watching you for the last hour, he'll jump in and the audience will see no change at all. So that's really cool.
And go ahead.
So I just want to finish. And the other thing from a technical side, Hasmark, I switched over to Zoom Production Studio once they moved everything to the cloud.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because you're not using any of your resource, you're not depending on your resources being available for that production to continue. If you lose power, if you lose all your internet, if your computer crashes, it makes absolutely no difference. The production just goes on.
Yeah, if you lose power, as we've had it happen, where our TD got moved from the meeting and the other TD hadn't taken over, it just stopped on whatever the last frame was. She was able to log back in, come back up, and just grab it, but it still continued on. So whatever her last thing was, and I think she had like a group shot. It just stayed. It was just there, and that made all the difference in the world because, and it's very easy if you've got two TDs. A backup TD can just take over like immediately, which is really great. And I think we should mention the backstage area is not like a breakout room. They have a full camera feed. They have a full audio feed that they can control. They can contribute to the chat. They can contribute to questions, all from the backstage, and then also from the from the regular, the same thing you would have in a webinar. So there's a lot about it that I think is really strong.
Yeah,
So
and also the brand new thing, Tamara, you'll love this too, is that as of version 7, and again, you have to be running version 7 on your machine, backstage now you can actually have production studio in backstage. So if you're not going to be talent
What?
in the webinar, talk more. Hold on, I'll
more.
explain more. Yeah, so currently you have to be on stage or in the webinar to do production studio. As of version 7, Josh, that both John and I know, so it is there, that you can now officially backstage switch production studio, and it will see all your backstage people and also your onstage people.
So let me ask for clarification. If I'm cutting the show and I'm pulling a David Paskin only with Zoom Production Studios, and I'm backstage, can I cut the onstage show from backstage, or do I still
100%?
Oh,
yes.
that's a whole new thing, because then you can really bring people in, talk to them in between,
there
and
is a
then
but.
do that. There's a but.
There
I
is
know
a but,
there's a
though,
but.
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
If you haven't allocated all the people in production studio in advance, which you can do, so you can allocate all the speakers who are going to be in the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not on the stage, they can't be allocated.
That makes sense.
So if you're in backstage,
Mm-hmm.
you can't join any of the scenes on production studio because you're backstage. If anyone's backstage with you, you can't allocate them. They have to go onto the stage for you to then allocate them. Otherwise, they're not seen. So it's a bit weird when Mike and I are doing a show and we both want to be on stage, and then Mike's backstage and he realizes he can't be seen, but he can't even allocate himself before he gets there because he's not there.
I see.
So
but some of it for
people
me
on stage can be allocated. And if they've been pre-allocated, then they don't appear until they're on stage.
That's
So
cool.
that's the only thing you ought to be careful of.
I'm just thinking of like tech checking people while I'm cutting people on stage. That would be.
Oh, and don't forget, you can do a screen share in backstage. So if you've got a presenter who's not sure how to do things, you can get them to practice to try their screen share backstage, and then they have to do it again when they go on stage. But at least they go through the process.
I love
and on top
the
of that too,
backstage
you can,
area.
yeah, and on top of that too, the good thing about that is too that once you have them enable share as soon as they get on stage, so that you then will be able to see it, which is still the pain. And Josh knows my pain on this, which is shares do not come up as sources.
Right.
So that's my only pain, is that I do not know if the actual share is live or not for that person. With John, I actually have to go to the share, not template, Johnny. I'm saying the wrong word again. Scene. So I have to go to the share scene to make sure that if John is, I know John's going to be sharing, and I won't know John's share is on until it's there, and also it goes into my second screen, right? Because I have the second screen doing my share. But
Okay,
that
you guys have lost me completely. So
Okay, so
They need
so
to
we'll
do a
start-
demo for you again.
I'll start.
coming back.
Shall I talk you through our show?
Yeah, so, I mean, Robert said that if there's a long production, so my medical event is from 8 till 6 p.m. That's almost 10 hours. But for any given hour, there are the participants or panelists or whatever, that there's the audience and there's a speaker. So there's a speaker every hour. Does Zoom studio production make sense, or do I just stick to meetings? What's the downside or upside of one or the other?
It just looks more sexy.
Do you have one person cutting the show, or do you have
One
like a
one person, one
So
person.
where it would make sense is that you have your speaker on stage and he's doing his thing, and you've got your next speaker coming in, and you want to set them up. You want to make sure their mic and everything sounds good. Now that you can cut in while you're backstage, you could be backstage, or whoever your person is, welcoming them in, checking their framing, their lighting, their sound, and then promote them when it's time. I will say, because I was doing this for for office hours as the PSC, when you promote someone to panelist to the webinar, it takes about 4 to 5 seconds longer than you think it should. Like every single time, 100% of the time, it didn't matter
Right.
how many times I did it.
Sure.
I
Sure.
never knew. There was always a point where I was like, I didn't send them, because it's just 1 second too long for them to actually get there.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tamara, because I know I've experienced that, at the other end, it seems like this is taking an inordinately long period of time.
Yeah, that was like the one thing where every single time I would say, great, I'm sending you up to webinar now, and I'd send them, and they'd be there, and they'd be there, and they'd be there, and I was like, I didn't send them, and I would like look at Keith, and I'd be like, maybe I should send them again, and then they'd go away. So it just takes a long time to get. They have to leave the room, go down the hall, up a flight of stairs before they actually get to the place where they're going.
And has Mike, if I just before John and Mike start talking about their setup, just keep in mind that John and Mike run a show where they are the hosts and they are the participants, they're the speakers, they're doing the switching everything. The situation you are in and Tamara is in and I'm in is that we're cutting a show for some other participants. Yeah, we're not actually participating directly as a speaker. We don't have a role on stage. I think that's one thing to keep in mind. And just going back to be very clear, this only works for webinars.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
so
for regular webinar plus or events. It does not work for like just regular webinars. So that's the other key.
correct, Tamara. Correct.
So all your liminal tools like Zoom ISO or Tiles or Zoom Graphics Toolkit, they not part
They
of
will-
the deal?
So they will technically work, but you
Mhm.
wouldn't need them to, because the
Right.
Zoom Production Studios is like a full kind of suite of that. If you need liminal tools, like you can do more obviously with liminal tools, but this is set up so that you have like 50 scenes that you can choose from to set up. Like they have got, when you're setting up ahead of time, you can have shared screen, you can have 9 up, you can have them in small boxes, little boxes. So you can set up a bunch of scenes ahead of time. And I always say set up more than you think you need. And those are, when you launch the program or when you launch Zoom Production Studios, all of those are on the side, and your panelists are kind of in their little boxes, and you can assign them in preview and send them over into production. So it's very easy, and that you can make it more complicated. I don't even pretend to know how the office hours group is set up, but it is like not Zoom Production Studios on its own. When they were using it, it was like Zoom Production Studios Plus, because they're amazing. So I don't, they're using outside things as well. But in terms of the tool itself, you wouldn't necessarily need the other things in the same way that you don't necessarily need them if you're doing eCam or something like that.
Yeah,
The
this is
only
big production in the cloud too, which is a whole other scenario too. Hazmat. So this will show you here momentarily. Go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
I just wanted to say, with the other tools, the only one that I use is Zoom's graphic toolkit, where you'd want to bring up poll results and Q&A things that in a nicer way than just copy pasting it into something.
Right. And the perfect example of that too, Hazmat, is related to because of the fact that production studio is still looking at that person's video. So that's where, the important thing, and actually Roland and I talked about this on the show earlier today, which was the fact of what John and my show earlier today, is the fact that with production studio, it's looking at, so if I end up doing, and everybody will see me in a small box right now, but let me do my reaction. So all of a sudden, so these reactions will show on production studio. But if I react to just a plain, as you see it going up the side of the screen, that reaction, that won't work unless you're bringing in graphic toolkit, right? Because graphic toolkit, again, is going to put it as an overlay in front of my video,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
So that's where the differences are there.
Okay.
Johnny, I think everybody's ready for your demo now.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the format that we've got for our screen, and I'll give you the reasons why we've got the screen layouts, and I think that'll give you an idea of what you can use them for. So the first two we've got are a holding screen, and the second one is actually a video, and the video, yeah, it's got a Suno soundtrack behind it. That's how we start our show, and we end our show with a similar setup. And then we have different scenes. Now we can pre-populate these scenes in advance by choosing a person that's in the speakers list, so they're already been notified they're in that particular event. So you can predefine these. Now that just means that when you go live with this particular scene in the preview box, they will be the people set in that box. Doesn't mean you have to have them though. If you want to, you can remove them or put somebody else in, or if you haven't allocated anybody, you can allocate a person for the box. And as far as the speakers are concerned, you said your speaker will last for an hour, but your speaker's got different ways of being shown, because your speaker can be shown like this, which is a full screen. They can be shown as a full screen with a slight border around it. You can actually change the aspect ratio to change the way they work. You can change the webinar wallpaper around them, and you can even make a bigger safe area if you want to put a title in. But they're probably sharing a screen. So you've got the option to share a screen. Discard because I don't want to save anything. You can have a screen which is just a full share, or you can have variations on the speaker and the share at the same time. So you can have this one, which is a larger share and a smaller speaker, or this one, which we've got, which is a 50-50 of each. So depending on what they're sharing and how they want to share it, you've got lots of options there, and you can even change the aspect ratio of the speaker. So there's quite
So
a bit of
you
playground you can do. Yes, Hasmat.
so you cutting the show here in production studio. Is there any role for a hardware switcher at all in this kind
No.
of setup? No.
No.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this is not exactly how it looks like when you do it live. You don't get all these options when you do it live. This is just when you're editing it. When you're doing it
Yeah.
live, you have a choice of all the speakers, all the
Right.
scenes, and you can change the speakers, but you wouldn't be able to change all these aspect ratios. This is what you do in the planning. And
So your planning needs to include, like, if you want a 2-up, you have to plan for that.
yes, but there's a really good fallback system here that if there isn't, so if I do a four people, 4-person up, if there aren't 4 people available, and I haven't allocated 4 people to those boxes, only the boxes that have people allocated will actually show. So so typically what we do in our show is we cheat, you see, because what we'll do is we'll put me there, we'll put Mike there, and if we have no guests, it will just turn into a 2-up. And then if we
Right.
have any guests, Mike's got the option to put them in between us or on the end.
And what other sources can you bring into the production? Let's say you have a slide deck.
You can have a shared screen or a video
Okay.
or a fixed image.
Right. Okay. Got you.
And the videos and the fixed images have to be defined before the show. You can't
Right.
change them mid-show. You can't edit anything mid-show.
That's what Tamara was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
So
you've got
again,
a shared screen, you can choose whose shared screen you're having. So I've had
Right.
situations with my medical meetings where I've had 2 speakers on stage, only one speaker speaking, but they're both sharing their screens already, so we know their screens work. Nobody sees their screen share until you run a scene with their screen share in it. So they can
Gotcha.
see their screen share can be up the whole presentation if they want.
But will their screen share, you can show them as a box in a 2-up? Or does it take the whole screen share?
No, you've got the option
like
here. So
normal
this
screen
one
share.
here, you've got a screen share with the 1-up.
Okay.
Here I've got a screen share with 4 of them down the side.
Right. Got
There's
you.
also some other variations. You can do a screen share with them underneath. You can do a screen share with them to the left, to the right, above, below.
Okay.
You just generate a
Gotcha.
scene to do that.
Got you.
And you can go live with this, which could be one of your presenters, but then in your preview box you could do this again, but this time you choose your next presenter's screen share so that you can flip from one presenter with their screen share to the next presenter with their screen share. That's why I said you
Right.
can have multiple screen shares waiting in the wing, so to speak, but only what you see in the production studio that's live is what your audience will see and your YouTube audience will see. All the other
Right.
presenters will feel like they're in a meeting with all the screen shares and all the people all there in a line.
Got you.
But the audience and YouTube, and that's what's key for us, the audience and YouTube, get to see the presentation, the layout, and that's all they see. And they won't see any other people, whether they've got the cameras on or off. The only catch is this is a video switcher. So anyone who turns their microphone on is going to be heard. Just because they're not in the scene doesn't mean they can't talk. I mean, Mike
Right.
was blurbling away all the time yesterday, earlier today, even though he didn't have himself up on the screen. He had Roland and myself on the screen, but he was still able to chime in because he just
Sure.
unmuted himself and made some
Gotcha.
comments, and then he didn't have to be on the screen to do it. But
yeah. And the important thing, Hasmuk, is to know that if your mic is open, and this is Tamara and I talked about this production studio wise. This is where if your mic is open and let me say it this way. If you're on stage and your mic is unmuted, you're live. So it's as if you are local and you've got a microphone in your hand. At any time, if you're talking, it could be coming through the speaker system.
Yep.
Right.
just one little trick. If you have a 1-up, as I suppose we're going to call it, you can choose active speaker as the source.
Right.
So you can have one box where it's active speaker, and that way you leave it on an active speaker, it will just flip itself automatically.
Split it. Yeah. Got you.
So it mimics active speaker from meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing too is if you what did I do? Got all crazy. The other thing is if you know you're going to have like multiple panelists, like you know you're going to have 6 panelists, then what you really want to create in your pre-setup is 6 single boxes and a 9 up or a 6 up, so that you can always flip to the panel. But then your assigned boxes, your signed soloists can just go and you don't have to keep assigning. You can reassign during the show, but it's just easier if you just pre-prep your thing. You're like, I'm going to have these people, I'm going to have like 9 singles if I need that many. And then it's easier to play on action in the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because we do that here, because what we do is we have 2 versions of this, one big speaker and 2 little ones. And we make Mike the main speaker on one of the screens, and on the other scene, I'm the main speaker. So we can flip between the 2 of us being the main speaker on those particular slides.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before I'm going to hand over to Robert in a second, but the other 2 things I just mentioned is that you can actually pick slides up and change the order. And you can do that when you're live as well. So if you've got a great big long list of people and you're getting lost, while somebody else is speaking, you can drag the order of the slides around so that the ones you want to use next are all close to you. And there's also a button to disable the slides. Oh, and I forgot one thing, because it's what I forget all the time.
Yeah.
If you click on these 3 little dots, you can save it as a template and then use it elsewhere.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
So,
don't have to
yeah,
keep
just to make
typing
sure
all
that
from
we get
scratch.
the verbiage properly. Roland caught that. Yeah. So these are scenes. Right?
Scenes.
Yeah. Not slide. Again, slides. We're getting all our different.
They're scenes
acronyms
until you
mixed up.
slide them, and then they become scenes again. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
And Hazmat, what I did for you is I gave you a picture of what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I saw today, earlier today's show. If you take a look at that picture, the only thing that actually went out to YouTube was top left.
Oh, okay.
All right. So for everybody on YouTube, I'll just tell you briefly what I'm showing here, because obviously I can't post a picture. So basically what I sent Hasma was a picture of us, what it looks like as a participant panelist. So as you saw, you can see how Roland was brought in, Hasma, in that picture as well, where his box was just there. And that was just audio promoted, not audio and video promoted.
Right.
And then top left was me, because I happened to be speaking when I took the screenshot. And that was what they call attendee view, which now officially is labeled as a version 7. It says attendee view now. And that is top left. And that is actually what the attendees will see, and also what YouTube will see, or anything that you're streaming to from Zoom at that particular point.
And the other 2 boxes, you've got one on the right and you got John at the bottom.
Yeah. So me on the right is me locally. And then the bottom is John, what I'm seeing as John. So the attendee view will be a little delayed, because that is production studio now. But the real live, us talking to each other, is those 2. So you could, if you wanted to, as a panelist, I could pin John to my second screen if I wanted to. If I just wanted to have that one-on-one conversation with him.
Right.
Or what I do, because again, I'm also running production studio, is I run the attendee view in my second screen, in my teleprompter screen. Oh, Johnny, yes, go ahead.
Well, that's what we do. We use a lot of really silly hand signals between us when we're not on the screen and we're not being seen. We can say, ready, and time check. Yeah, you see.
Yeah, that's my time check to let John know that we're going a little too long here. Okay, yeah, all right. So, we're trying to do it for an hour, and all of a sudden we're off on a tangent. It's like,
15 minutes when I planned it. I don't know how we managed to get to an hour.
Yeah,
but we're talking too long now, because we should let Robert say something much more intelligent.
Yes, Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, what I really like about the production studio is that the panelists that come in literally have just an ordinary Zoom meeting. They don't have to know about Production Studio. They don't have to understand that it's different. They just have a Zoom meeting. The only difference is that they can see the program output in a separate window. Okay. The person who's doing the switching gets like a pop-up. You get a separate window. And the cool thing about that window is it's a typical switching type window. In other words, you have the preview and then you switch the preview across to the output. So you can see what's going to happen. And that's really nice. Then you can populate or change the preview as to what you want it. When it's the way you want it, you send it out. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing that I do when I'm using it, and you asked if you can use any hardware, I set up a user that attends as a panelist, and the input for the camera is actually the output from my ATEM Mini, where I can switch between different sources that I want to show on the screen. So that gives me the flexibility for when what Tamara says, you can't change anything. If something happens unexpected, I've still got my old workflow that I can change things, put in music that I hadn't planned, put in a film that I hadn't planned, put in whatever comes in that I hadn't planned, or even a counter, or if there's a break to bring up something for a break. So that's the way I do it, just to have that flexibility.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
don't
it's cool.
forget the image of a broken pencil or something. You can always put up when things go wrong.
Yes, yes. There's always that infamous, and that would be its own slide or AKA scene of we're experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. How many people have that? Okay, yeah. See, Tamara knows. Tamara knows. Yep, yep. I've even shown. Yeah, I made John actually make one too. Yes, so we actually have our.
That I've got the be right back.
Yeah, be right back.
We'll be with you
know.
shortly. Thank you for joining us.
Yep,
It-
all the above. All the above.
It's
Welcome into music.
Yeah,
it's quite
and all of a sudden throw up the music app for free because now we're covered. Go ahead, Hasbun.
it's quite a paradigm shift actually. It's a
Mhm.
significant shift
Yeah.
in terms of your existing workflow mindset. And I think what Tamara said early on, you've got to set it up before your event as best as you can. But then again, Robert has his kind of aid solution where he can bring that any source into the meeting on almost an unplanned basis.
Right.
So
So
he
all
could
that would be, yeah. So it has
he-
it would be as easy as bringing, if you wanted to bring in an ATEM Mini Pro as its own Zoom participant
exactly.
or
Yeah,
panelist. Sorry, panelist. And then you could accidentally, it becomes, as long as Production Studio sees it. So think of it this way. This is the easiest way to think of it. Anything that can come into a Zoom meeting with audio and video, anything
yeah, yeah.
is now a source in Production Studio.
Right.
Right. So no matter what you want to do at that particular point, if you even want to not trust Production Studio to play your videos, and you have an external, you might have Jonas's Raspberry Pi configuration where you're playing back the videos off of that, and you want to be able to bring that video in, it just needs now to be its own source, aka Zoom participant or Zoom panelist, that you could actually bring in as a source and then bring it that way. So that's
You could also have a slide deck on a computer that's connected to your ATEM and bring that as a source,
yes,
which kind of answers my earlier question. So
yeah,
you obviate this need to set up a screen share, for example.
right. So again, if you're in a venue that somebody else is using their laptop and you already have the slide going locally to a projector,
Yeah.
that same feed that you're bringing back to yourself as a now video source, you just have to make that video source, instead of it bringing it back into the ATEM world now, all your video sources are Zoom individual clients
Right.
that have to connect to Production Studio.
Sure.
That's the mindset that you have to go with that. Robert, you were first. I'll do Robert first, and then I'll do Johnny.
The other thing, talking about using Zoom Production Studio, is the comfort feeling when you're streaming, because remember that you've given the production tool to someone. That's running in the cloud, so it's not coming down to you. And the streaming is going directly from the Zoom servers, whether it's RTMP or whether it's using Zoom servers. Yeah. What we do is we will send out an RTMP stream to Restream, and then we can send it out from that to multiple locations. And what that effectively means is that everything, all the streaming is in the cloud and on big infrastructure, and it's not dependent on your local infrastructure. And
Gotcha.
that is really, that makes me feel so safe during production.
I mean, the question to that is that if you have a show where you are not streaming, it's only for the folks in there, then does studio make sense?
Yeah,
Sure.
because it's a webinar. That's the thing. If it's a webinar, then everything that is going out, because it was in production studios in the cloud, you don't have the switch locally. You're not pulling stuff, switching it, and sending it back. It's being switched on the Zoom servers and at the data centers.
The other
Gotcha.
reason it would make sense is that there's a delay built in to a webinar that is not in a meeting. So if I bring InCam into a meeting, then it's going to have a delay. If you bring it into Zoom Production Studios in the webinar, there's an automatic delay built in to when it hits the webinar. So unless you're listening to both the live and what's being there, you will notice it. But if you don't do, your audience does not have that lag. So that's the most kind of important thing. If you're, if you're using something in a meeting, then you kind of bring it back in, it has to go out to your thing and then back in through however you're bringing it in. And so that's eliminated using a webinar. So that's
Yeah,
the number one reason
Yeah,
to do it, I think.
Yeah.
And that
So Hasmit,
that's
I'll go a little more techie what Tamara was talking about. So think of it this way: is that if you have Zoom ISO has to bring down the feed to you, now you have to do something with that feed. So now you have to have a lot of bandwidth. Now, especially with if you're doing 1080p 60 now too, you have that much more bandwidth that you have now bringing down, but you still have to be able to send up. Right. So now you have to bring everything in. There's always so bringing it in, and then you're switching equipment, Ecamm, Mimo Live, insert here, is going to take time. Then there's going to be that time for it to then figure that out and go to the encoder and then send out. That all now disappears and makes the latency now, because it's already in Zoom servers. It's just going from one Zoom server to a production studio server. I'll be very, very high level with this, right? So so all the feeds are going from Zoom's infrastructure to another production studio infrastructure. So it's right there. Like, they're like almost beside each other, right?
Gotcha.
Physically,
Gotcha.
right? And
But
then
if
again, yeah, go ahead, Tamara.
If you are broadcasting to Zoom, there is a delay. Even if you're doing it real time, it's a little bit, and obviously it would annoy people like us, but it may not annoy your everyday audience. But that was something we just could not overcome at this point. So it's great if you're doing it to a webinar and it's a closed feed, and maybe you're recording locally and uploading later at a different time. Perfect. And Zoom has lots of different video options to do that. But if you're doing simultaneous to Zoom or to your webinar and to YouTube, we did find there was a delay that we couldn't make that go away.
And again, too, don't forget that, once it is on YouTube system, again, unless you're using low latency mode on Zoom or on YouTube, again, you're not going to have low latency on YouTube. And there's always going to be a bit of that. There's always going to be a delay. Let's be quite honest. The zero delay, there is no such thing as going to be zero delay. There's always going to be some sort of delay. It's always going to be at least milliseconds somewhere, somehow in the chain. But what you don't have then, Hasmit, is the worry about being at, XYZ location. And now your limitation of how much bandwidth is only now needed to worry about being able to bring feeds out of that location, instead of being able to bring a lot in and also send a lot out, including the feed that you're sending out. And that's always been the huge danger that's always hampered production companies like for a long time, is being able to bring all the feeds down to themselves from the cloud, which they're doing, and then mix it and then send it back to the cloud so that it actually be in the webinar meeting, or in this case, restream or going to YouTube directly or Facebook or whatever. Insert here. Go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So there's another way of looking at it technically, and that is that Production Studio is a participant in your meeting, in your webinar. So all the panelists can hear each other and they talk, and all that is then sent into the cloud, and it comes down through this participant called Production Studio. The audience only hear what comes out of the mouth of Production Studio. So all our audio goes up and comes down through that person. There's a version of the recording you can have on the cloud, which is specifically the recording of that Production Studio. And that Production Studio, again, is the one that goes to YouTube. And yes, as Tamara said, there is a delay because there's always a delay sending things to YouTube. But if you get lonely, all you need to do is play a video. Because when you play a video, 2 new participants turn up, because Zoom like backups, and one of them will play the video and the other one dances, apparently. You never see that, but one of them plays the video and the other one just sits there and watches, and if it goes wrong, apparently they take over and do the video. So you get these 2 new people turning up, which can be distracting sometimes. Because I'll tell you a little story. Zoom. You know that ding-dong bell when people turn up? Unfortunately, the ding-dong bell when people turn up also works when you play a video. Because somebody turns up, this participant turns up to play the video for you, and you get a ding-dong bell saying somebody's just joined the meeting. And when they finish playing the video, guess what? Yeah, the ding-dong bell rings again to say they're going away now.
Yep.
So
and the official Easter egg of John and I for this week is, which show did that happen to us this week on?
But isn't that something that you can turn off though, as one of the options?
It is, but it just shows how it's integrated. The Production Studio is that as far as Zoom is concerned, they're just attendees.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, do I have it? I have it on all the time because I always want to know when people are coming in the waiting room and such, because I've got multiple screens going here. So again, yes, I had the chime come on, and sure enough, it decided to go because my microphone picked it up. So you guys will hear it loud and clear. Ding dong. Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah, so
But it's
I
interesting what
guess
Robert said. Sorry.
I gotta watch your guys' show. I guess to get an appreciation of this. So
come and join us.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
But
so
before
Mike,
Production
you can
Studio, I used to run 2 meetings, and I'd have the audience in one meeting, I'd have the presenters in the other meeting. I would connect them with an ATEM, firing the signal from one meeting to the other,
right.
and then you'd have to have all the presenters have to be silent while it was all going on, and they wouldn't be able to say anything, and they wouldn't be able to do anything, and they'd all have to be as quiet as mice because the presenter's doing their presentation, and then they would stop presenting, and then you'd have to get the other presenter and the other presenter to go, can you see my screen yet? And all that rubbish. Now we've got Production Studio. All the people that are not presenting can be in backstage, and they can be chatting to each other, and they can be answering the Q&A and dealing with the chat, and it doesn't matter because they can't interrupt the meeting. And then when it's their time to come on, they can come on stage, they can do their screen share, but nothing will be shared to the audience until you go into Production Studio and choose that scene where they're using their share. It's just another world. It really is.
Backstage is brilliant. Like, I want backstage in every single meeting. I think we all deserve that. Don't care what it is. You deserve a backstage because it is my favorite thing ever.
So your show is on Tuesdays, is that right?
Monday, Tuesday, Friday. And there's a
Say
technical one on
again?
every other Wednesday. And I'm about to announce. Oh, why don't I announce it here? I'd like to announce that we'll be starting a show for the Zoom community once a month until you get excited, and then maybe we'll do it twice a month, but once a month to start with. So there'll be a show for the Zoom community starting in April.
John, just going back to your workflow, your previous workflow, didn't you also have vMix sitting somewhere in that video chain?
Sometimes, but I didn't need it. I didn't need it for the function of taking the signal from one to the other. But yes, I did add vmix so I could do some lower thirds and do some clever graphics on the way across. But it was such a pain. But
It's
it worked.
complicated.
But in those days, all we had was Zoom meeting. Or Zoom meeting. That was it. The alternative was, do you want to use Zoom meeting or do you want to use Zoom meeting? There was nothing else out there. So we had to be inventive. But this,
Yeah.
and the interesting thing is, because what you said about people noticing things, I changed the system, and all I told the presenters was, oh, you don't have to go to join a separate meeting. You can join the same meeting as everybody else. I'll give you your own link. And I just dropped them into backstage. And I don't think, well, apart from just showing people around, I don't think anyone batted an eyelid to the new environment. They just turned up in backstage. They loved the fact that they could chinwag with each other without interrupting the person on the stage. And then when they didn't know what was going on, I could just move them by hand, because you can control everybody as a host. So I could just bring them onto the stage, and then they'd do their screen share and whatever. But now when we run them, they'll look at the time, they'll see it's nearly their time to go, and they'll just click the button themselves, and they'll go to the stage on their own. And when they finish their presentation, they'll come back off the stage, say goodbye to everybody, and then leave the meeting.
Absolutely.
It's
And
the
we
power
actually
of
have
Zoom, really, isn't it?
It is.
The fact is that Zoom has all these different things it does, but we're still using the same interface and the same layout. So it's not as if you're having to learn 2 or 3 different systems. It's all the same program. I mean, even Zoom Clips is so similar to this version of Zoom. The only problem is you can't run the two at the same time, but it's still the same idea.
I'm not sure if I did the right thing by asking the question. Am I happy or do I regret this?
What about production studio? No, you've actually no. This is a great discussion, Hasmut. As a matter of fact, we got a YouTube question that actually is follow up to this, which is, can you manage your scenes with a Stream Deck?
I can, but you can't.
It's possible, but not possible.
It's possible, and I do it. In fact, I even enable a what did I do this evening? Oh yeah, this afternoon. I don't know if you know this, NVIDIA Broadcast. Have you heard of that one? NVIDIA have got their own little video mucking around system called NVIDIA Broadcast. But one thing it's got the eyes. It's got that little utility that means that I'm always looking at the camera, even when I'm looking somewhere else. So I use my little jiggery pokery program to enable that as well. So this afternoon I did a presentation, not Mike's one, but I did another presentation elsewhere. And I was having to do stuff on the screen. So I was looking at the screen all the time. But because I had a little button on my Stream Deck, I could enable the stare. So it looked like I was looking at the camera when I was looking at this. So no one ever knew. So that
But only you have that app, John. You haven't shared it with anyone, even though you said you would.
I haven't shared it with anyone. I may just try and see if I can get it on the Elgato marketplace.
Yeah. I would actually like to hear what Hasmut wanted to say, because we sort of cut him off. He was going through a thought, and he was going to conclude whether it was worth asking that question or not. And I wanted to hear his answer to that.
The answer, Robert, personally, but if you want to go for it, let's go for it.
No, I want Hasmut to answer the question.
No. I think my thoughts are it's a significant paradigm shift from my workflow using meetings to production studio. It's not just a paradigm shift, it's actually a seismic shift. Because you got to think about these things very differently, because there's this notion of backstage and the need to prep your scenes ahead of time. I guess once you've got a template for a particular kind of show, then that becomes a little easier. The other gem that Robert put in was this bridge between using a hardware switcher with multiple device inputs. You can still bring those in. So I can imagine that the notion of a two-up, where the one up is the talent and the other one is your ATEM as an attendee or a panelist, and you could still show the slideshow through that. And so there's a bridge that allows you to kind of be comfortable with your remnants of your mindset from the one to the other.
Yeah, and the slowest progress you could actually do initially playing with it, Hasma, is if you don't quote unquote trust Production Studio in the beginning, you could actually just run Production Studio with a couple of scenes, but you're still switching everything as an ATEM,
Gotcha.
right? Where you're only bringing the one source, which is your ATEM, into Production Studio, and then doing it that way. But again, you're not taking now because you're so used to everything being in house. You've had to build the major infrastructure that people can't normally do because of you need a lot of bandwidth, right? Because if you want to be able to bring in 6 to 8 to 10 people, and you're going to be running 1080p 60, you're talking at 120 megabit per second. You need down for 12 times 10, right? So that calculation disappears with Production Studio because everybody's sitting there in the cloud, and Zoom is allowing you all that bandwidth now, in theory, for free, because they're now doing all they don't need. You don't need Zoom ISO to bring each individual one down into the ATEM, break it out into the ATEM. You just basically have them people join, and Zoom automatically knows, oh, here's all the ones you can use, Hasma, and it gives you a picture of all the different sources that you have.
I dropped you a message, Hazmat. You can, I can give you a backup account on our system, and you can have a look at what we've done.
Okay. Yeah, Mike sent me your website, so I looked at it.
Yeah.
Now,
so
the other downside is cost, because meetings are way.
I was going to come to that.
I will tell you this, because there are lots of events where I would love to use it, but it does not have they do not have the money to do what you have to do, because it's a webinar. So you either have to pay, and it's not the webinar license, you have to pay a webinar plus license or an events license. So that's considerably, so if cost is an issue in that, then meetings are going to be your friend, and we just all want to have some kind of backstage.
But don't forget that it's an unlimited license.
Yeah.
So if you do purchase a monthly license for 100 users, and you can use it 4 or 5 times, that's when it really kicks in the value. I agree with Tamara. If you do one event a month, then it seems like a lot of money, and it is quite a lot of money. But if you can do 2 or 3 events in the month, you've only had to pay once for it. And if you can get it, if you can get a events license under 100 users, or in other words, if you can get a 100 user events license and that fits in your audience, the advantage of the 100 user license is you don't have to make an annual commitment for it. Whereas the bigger licenses you do, so you can literally have it for 1 month and then turn it off for 2 months and then re-enable it a month later if you've got another set of events going there. Which is for one reason, for once, I'm happy that my friend has all her medical meetings all squashed together, because we only have to justify paying for a month for her for that particular event, and then she doesn't have to worry about the rest of the year.
Now I'm thinking of the mobile company where they may have 600 people. So that's probably then.
Now, and again, is it guaranteed monthly, Hasma?
Yeah, so probably 3 of them each month.
Three a month.
Yeah. So each region.
That's warranted for events then.
Yeah, there's 7 regions, and each region will have 600 folks at a time. So I mean, that's the reason I'm kind of asking this question, because
that definitely warranted taking a closer look at Zoom events, 100%. Because not only that, you also get the landing pages as well on the event side, right? So everybody, once they register and they go to join, you can actually brand the page. right? So
Gotcha.
now branding kicks in for events too. So again, for the mobile company, it could be all their logos, it could be the people that are going to be talking, all of this information now that isn't in meeting. And it is sort of in webinar, but Webinar Plus just kicks it up that much more. It makes it a lot more of a, I want to use the word portal, but again, good old Zoom uses, hub. And again, it is a hub. So you could potentially have them, have them as their own hub as well, if you really wanted to as well. Go ahead, Robert.
Before
Oh, yeah, go
Robert
ahead.
comes in, just from so the manner in which the licensing works is you purchase a Webinar Plus license for X number of users. Is that how? And then
Johnny,
is Production Studio then a additional
No,
cost or
Production
license?
Studio is built in, is free. Well, free. There's no such thing as free, is there, Robert?
It's a
Production
component.
Studio is part of the events or the Webinar Plus license.
Okay, gotcha.
and
So that comes
and
with it, and
yes,
you can.
and liminal.
Yeah, liminal as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
you
go ahead,
can
Robert.
use it on a you can use it on a pay-per-view or an unlimited license. You can buy either way, but from the group you're talking about, if you're going to have 3 in a month, then it makes much more sense to pay for a larger license. You'll need to get a commitment off them, obviously, to do this, but it makes sense then because you're paying for the unlimited license each month. You get it using it 3 times, so that's cutting down the costs. But it is an annual commitment for anything over 100 seats. So, but as I said, I'm quite happy to show you exactly how we've done ours, and we can work out any questions like that. That's not a problem. But Robert's going to come with the best answer because he always does.
I don't know how to answer that question in a sensible way, but I'll tell you something that I've just discovered with Zoom events, which I didn't realize would give this sort of value. And it's not a technical thing, but if you're running Zoom events and you have multiple parallel sessions, what this actually is doing for a lot of, for recently, I had 2 companies that were trying to put in a lot during a short period of time. And what that gave us is that we could run 2 parallel sessions, have the speakers in, record everything, and the people who wanted to ask live questions attended live, and then they could go back to the hub and watch the recording of the session that they didn't attend. It seems so obvious, but it's not something that really struck me when I was initially using events. That you could sell it to potential clients, is that we can reduce the duration of the whole of the event. And when you're talking to corporations, they don't want to take all of the staff out of the organization for 6 to 8 hours. You're saying we can only have to take them out for 3. And then they can watch the recordings of the ones that they didn't attend. And that's a real strong selling point for events. Just wanted to share that.
And of course, if the other way of doing that whole thing is, if you do the event once and you've got the same presenters can do it 3 times, you can record that bit, and then you can either live, in other words, play it recording, or you upload the recording into a scene into Production Studio, and the presenter's presentation can be played out of Production Studio as a video. So Robert's right. You can really compress the time of everybody involved by playing around with it.
And I just thought of a quick one too for Hasma. Let's say the mobile company, or even you produce a studio, in your studio, you produce a video. You could actually just have that video in Production Studio ready to go when you feel everybody's there, have it play from Production Studio, and then have everybody, after that video is finished, to come in to answer live questions. So that's, again, where the SimuLive could come into play to do that. Or you could take it one step further. If you want full control, you could do it in Production Studio itself and have it do its thing, and then bring everybody on afterwards. Of course, make sure everybody's dressed similar to what you did in the video, of course, so it looks half decently consistent, just like they do on TV. But that's, even some of the big TV shows lately, I'm noticing consistency there too. But that's another story. But yeah, go ahead, Robert. You had another thing? No? All good? So, Hasbak, hopefully that'll help you.
I'm not sure if it's helping me, but it is food for thought.
It is, yes. And again, if you do want to check it out with me doing it live, that's not a problem. The only thing that you will not see, and this is one thing that, and this is what is different about production studio, is that each individual person that has production studio open has their own mix.
Right.
Okay.
Got
So you
Yeah.
will not see, like in an ATEM, you will not see that in program. Well, you always will see program in program, but your preview in production studio over here could be different than John. Like my preview can be different than John's preview.
Sure.
But
Understood.
John will always see in program what is in program. And for John to switch, I will get a pop-up that says John wants to take over production studio and I have to okay it. Then he can take it over and he can make the change. So it's not that it's, we could have two people fighting over production studio. Who's going to switch me now? No. They've built that in as well.
Don't tell him, but I can take over whenever I like because I'm host.
That too. So I do have to behave. That's very true.
And I forgot this because it's really useful, but we never use it.
Right.
You can also switch to gallery view in the middle of production studio. There's two little buttons at the top. You can actually switch to gallery view if you really wanted to use that. So you can actually bounce out of production studio and then back into it.
Yeah. So that is the great thing too. And we actually, for our show today, I actually had a Zoom issue with my client. And again, yes, I'm running 7.0.1, so it might be related to that. But where I started production studio, and then all of a sudden it took it, then I had a problem. I was able to leave. Production studio was still enabled. I was able to log fully out of the webinar, come back into the webinar, take production studio back over again, and set it all up, and I could take the next scene. So if you do have a full computer meltdown of sorts, production studio, whatever the last scene that was taken, stays.
Yeah. Got you.
Until somebody else that's running production studio takes over, or you come back and re-enable production studio and continue. So to the attendees, nothing happened. And also takes away the thing of having backup internet, because you're bringing all your internet, everything going down one pipe and not sharing it on two pipes. So all that fun stuff disappears too.
Well, I think it's safer to go to bed now before I.
And before we go, we have to get Hasbeth to sing, everybody. Yeah, so it's time for karaoke, so we can wrap it up this week for the Zoom Test Kitchen and head into the Zoom Test Lounge, where we can chat offline for all those Zoom community people that are still with us and panelists as well. So if you do want to check that out, of course, you have to be part of our Discord server, and we have to know who you are before you could actually join us in the lounge. But do check us out. And it's karaoke time, everybody.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks.
Yes, that's John helping.
Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming
Like,
each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with these. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No We're the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know and Zoom know how much you love our content. And that will actually allow us to have more Zoomies come visit us. So do check us out. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And join us next week for another rending and wild edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everybody, on YouTube. Off to the lounge.